Hello. What's up, everybody? We ready for some Critical Role? Rebecca, Wired Jeweler, Apotheosis, welcome. This is not. I know we talked about the Legend of Vox Machina soundtrack. This is not that. Someone very nicely pointed out in the comments that there is a separate soundtrack called Welcome to Taldore that Critical Role put out specifically for content creators, streamers, that sort of deal. And that's what we're listening to. It's all instrumental, so no risk of spoilers in the actual thing, and all of the titles are very what do you call it? Very generic. So like, there's one called like Umbra Hills. I'm assuming they go to Umbra Hills at some point, but that's as like spoilery as it gets. So I think this will be cool. Yesterday I went to a minor league hockey game. The officials wouldn't let the players fight. So disappointing. How dare they? How dare they not let those folks get into it? What else is the point of hockey? What's up, SSH? What's up, Undead King? That's why you go to a hockey game. Exactly. Why else are they all padded up? What's up, John? Oh my god! Nightbot figured out that it was here. Okay, that's good to know. That is very good to know that Nightbot doesn't come online for like 2 minutes after I go live. Because oh, message deleted by Nightbot. Oh my gosh. Wait, why did Nightbot... Wait, we live, boys? Why did Nightbot delete that? What the heck? What is this? Hey, Mega Man, Baldur's Gate or Elden Ring? I mean, I like Baldur's Gate. Tonight is Critical Role. I don't have like a regular night that I play Baldur's Gate, and I have never played Elden Ring. I have little to no interest. Like, it seems fine, but not really. Souls-likes aren't really my cup of tea. How do you get the AI image to be such a good representation of Percy? This one's not AI. This is just straight off the this is just straight off the Critical Role wiki. I think the last AI image I used was 2 episodes ago, maybe 3. So yeah, I go back and forth. Sometimes I just have like an idea for a thumbnail and I'm like, oh, I just want Percy in the thumbnail. That's as far as it goes. So I just look up a picture of Percy, but sometimes I want something a little bit more specific. The music, not the strict refs. Oh yeah. Yeah, the music's dope. I'm very happy with it. You go to the hockey game for fighting a NASCAR race for the crashes. Everyone knows this. Yeah, exactly. I've never been to a NASCAR race. My gut says it's like, oh, I'd like to go. But then I actually think about it, and I'm like, would I? I think maybe I'd go to like a party where they were watching NASCAR, but I don't know. I don't go to baseball games, football games, never went to any of that. Just stadiums and tailgating, not really my jam. I don't mind watching sports, but I'd rather watch it on the TV. Yeah, apotheosis. All right, so I think in general, as you might be able to gather from the thumbnail, I literally say my takeaway straight up. I like No Mercy Percy. I'm into it. I think it's a really cool arc, and I'm really excited to see where it goes. I think that I do want to say this. So I had a game last night I was playing in, and I actually had some of my backstory come up. Whoa! And I'd kind of held it back a little bit, and so I was like, yes, my time to shine. And it went really well, but it wasn't like nearly as dramatic, as No Mercy Percy, right? And I was kind of thinking about it afterwards. I was like, okay, what is the difference between my kind of reveal and No Mercy Percy reveal? What are kind of the driving factors here? And one thing I did want to note that I think is interesting is I talk a lot of shit really consistently on the number of players, that they have 6, 7, 8 players sometimes. I'm like, oh my god, so much to manage. Here's all these disadvantages. But I did want to highlight a major advantage of this, of having so many players. Major advantage. When players are trying to roleplay, I actually think that a lot of players have a decent filter on like, hey, that's a bad roleplay idea. Like, I think they, they're thinking through, they're trying to pick their moments, pick when they should jump in, when they should not. And I think that they're generally pretty good at only jumping in when it's good. The problem is, a lot of times, it's maybe not good. Like, there's not maybe always an opportunity for everyone to jump in. It's just like real life socializing. Sometimes you just don't have a lot to say. But it's even harder than real life because as much as you try to inhabit your character's mind space, you're not fully there. You can't access all their deep gut instincts all the time. And so when you have less players, like I generally prefer to DM for like 3 to 4. I prefer to play with like 3 to 5. When you have, closer to that 3 number or that 4 number, there are going to be more situations in which none of the players have like a strong RP urge. But when you have 7, 8, 9, you're going to have more of that blank space filled more of the time with like really good stuff just by the presence of more people. Now, I've talked at length about how that's also a bad thing. Like, you're going to have people vying for space, vying for time a lot, and that's a hard thing to manage. But there is the flip side of there's going to be a lot less silence, and big reveals, big RP moments are going to have more consistent interaction with other characters. Like, if you reveal something about your backstory, maybe half of the players don't have anything to say about it. And if you're in a 4-player game, that leaves you RPing with one other person. But if half of the players in Critical Role don't have anything to say, well, you still have 3 people to interact with. Or 2 at the least. So there's a bit of a benefit there that I want to highlight for these really, lot bigger games. And it might be a consideration if you're having trouble getting your players out of their shells a little bit in terms of RP. Bringing in a guest player might not be a bad idea for that. Just giving them more bodies to bounce off of. Could be a decent way to maybe motivate some of that role-playing. I got severely sunburnt at a race. Damn, that sucks. The last time I got severely sunburnt, I think I was streaming by that point, I got crazy sunburnt kayaking. Because in my head, kayaking was like the same as hiking, and I needed the same amount of sunscreen, which was not very much. And it was not the same at all. So, yeah. For the book club, you should make it its own category if you haven't. I don't really know what you mean by that. It has its own text chat. Yeah, it has its own text chat. I definitely relate to that just in real life. Glad to have other people carry the conversation. Yeah. And I think it's something that a lot of DMs struggle with, of like, how do I get my players to roleplay more? And I will say, my first campaign I ever ran, I did not have a lot of trouble getting the players to roleplay because I consistently had 5 to 6 people. And I didn't have nearly as much challenge getting people into their characters, because even if you have someone that's quieter, or you have someone that's having an off day, like they just had a really long day, they're really tired, but they still want to come and play D&D, it's not as much of like an RP burden on any given player when you have more players. Now, I do still think I still generally prefer having less players as a DM. I'm willing to take that trade-off. But if you're a DM and you're, kind of noticing that, like, getting your players to RP is your main problem, the silences in between roleplay is the main problem that you identify, then getting more people involved could be something to look into, at least until they've eased into their characters a bit more. Maybe having some guest players at the beginning and then waning them off as the campaign goes on. Relationships get established, and there's, the players have a little bit more of their footing set. So that's my takeaway from last episode. Now, this episode, I did lay out a whole fucking arc of what I think is going to happen the next, 4 or 5 episodes. And I think that I said this episode, they are going to teleport somewhere. And they are going to, from that new place, either a new city or somewhere else, there's going to be some sort of mini quest, just a quest for this episode that will somehow be involved with the Briarwoods. Like, the Briarwoods will somehow be behind it all. That is my prediction. Yeah, so I think they're going to teleport. I think they're going to, wherever Gilmore's Glorious Goods was, Westrun? I think Westrun. I think my theory is that they're going to take Gilmore's teleporter to Westrun, and then there's going to be a quest in Westrun, and then they're going to, end of the episode, or maybe right after the end, maybe the beginning of next episode, they're going to make a hike to Whitestone? Whitestone. Yeah. That's my prediction. And I will pause this, and we will get into it. Very first thing. Oh, and I also have bingo. I've also decided, quick update with bingo. I'm not going to, really, I'm not going to modify it for missing players. What I'm going to do instead is, if there's a missing player, we'll play it out. And if the bad, so for example, if the bad news gets mentioned, but Percy isn't here, then, we'll still tick bad news. And if we get to the end and one of the missing players' squares would have gotten a bingo, we'll count it as a half bingo. But it's a lot of work to, modify it for every, time of players missing. And then I have to look ahead beforehand. And so I'm kind of I'm not pre-watching, but I'm doing kind of close to pre-watching, which is too much of a line for me. So that's the update on bingo, especially because we haven't even gotten a bingo yet. So I don't think, a little bit of help would be amiss. Half bingo, but there are only 5 letters in bingo. Oh, let me introduce you to the wonderful world of fractions. 2.5, baby, we're out of integers now. These ain't your grandma's integers. But I had 1 bingo, Megan. You are the only bingo so far, John. I haven't gotten a bingo. No one else has gotten a bingo. John has the only bingo in the history of the institution yet. So I think we'll give the bingo a little bit of help in that way. But first things first, it is a absent player announcement and reaction.
Yes, perfect. Fun things to announce. First things first, unfortunately, we are down a Percy this evening.
Which is terrible. Speaking of fucking pre-watching, I was originally going to try to, make the bingo shorter, and so I looked ahead and I did see that Percy was missing already, which I don't like. I don't like knowing that, so I'm not going to do it anymore. Bin, Ing, Nago? Would that be a half bingo? I really like Nago. Especially, I used to play this idol game called Nagu Idol, Number Go Up Idol. And that was a dope game, so I'm going to call it a Nago. I like that a lot.
Our buddy Taliesin picked up a con plague in Alaska this past week. He had a great time, but came back very ill and has been trying to get better and is unable to make the game tonight.
That sucks.
Makes the current storyline.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's going to be tough. I mean, Percy was just tinkering down in his workshop for a sec. I think 2 episodes ago. So maybe he'll do something like that. Maybe, him and Matt talked it out a little bit more. This is going to be interesting to see how Matt handles this. What up, this dude? How you doing?
A little interesting, but we'll work it out. It's fine. So.
Oh, also, if you didn't see, if you're not in the Discord, number 1, get on in there. Number 2, I'm not going to be streaming on the 20th. Going to be doing Thanksgiving stuff because the family's coming into town the week before Thanksgiving. So I am going to be streaming on the 22nd because family will all be gone by then. So 22nd, thumbs up. 20th, thumbs down. Just for your awareness. Did I set? I actually don't think I set up the ! Discord yet. Go to site. Wait, let's see. So I set up Nightbot, but it's very limited so far. So I have Are You Live, no spoilers, command, playback speed. So let's see if no spoilers works. Are You Live? Because I am curious to see if Nightbot works. Already it wasn't the most consistent so far, but we'll see. That looks great. Okay. Tentatively, I'll say I already liked the Nightbot interface more when I was putting stuff in. I thought it was a little bit more clear than Stream Elements, personally. I did check out MooBot, but MooBot is actually only for Twitch. I thought it was on both, but it's not. It's only on Twitch. So, tentatively switching to Nightbot. We'll see. And I will transition more of the old commands, like Discord, into the Nightbot. But that'll be there for next episode.
No Mercy Percy is going to be...
No Mercy Percy.
Have some business he's tending to. Yeah.
No Mercy Percy.
Thank the critters for that. It's an awesome hashtag. So, Taliesin, hope you feel better. We miss you. Next week we continue that arc. Let's see. First and foremost, we're still every 100 subs we get on the channel, we have a giveaway to someone who's active in the
Okay, so No Mercy Percy is gone. That will make things a little interesting. We'll see. And then we're going to
the winner of that.
But this will be very educational. It will probably disrupt, I would guess, a little bit of my ideas, although maybe it won't. Maybe it'll actually, maybe this will be even more of a reason for them to do a small mini arc that just ties into the Briarwood stuff. But we'll see. Okay. And Orion mentions how he found the current outfit he's wearing.
Miss you, kid.
Hello. We went to It's a Wrap over in Burbank, California. Me and Liam and Laura and Marisha and Kit and her hubby, and we were there and saw this robe.
That's a very dope piece of clothing.
And I think Marisha and Laura were like, try it on. I was like, okay, and I tried it on, and it was like, oh my god, it was made for me. And
Tiberius robe, you always knew you probably didn't know you wanted.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, totally. I was like, oh my god. And Liam tweeted a picture about it, and then I quoted it, and I was streaming on my stream on Twitch, and somebody mentioned the robe, and Michael Bauman, thank you again. I'm going to thank you on Critical Role for he donated $400, which was the cost of the robe.
Whoa!
And then he just wrote in the chat, this is for the robe. Wow. So I'm wearing the robe.
That's awesome.
Wow, thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much. So thank you so much, you guys, and all you guys who pitched in. So thank you.
Heck yeah, we'll find many cool excuses.
So many good uses
to have
for
have that robe be displayed and utilized in many ways.
It feels good.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't taken it off since he got
Yeah,
it.
it smells really bad.
I mean, that's dope as hell. I'm curious. My initial gut instincts, and maybe this is too permissive of me, is that I could see this being interpreted really negatively as him essentially advertising his stream and asking critters to go and give him money, and then he'll feature their shit on cam. Because he also did the flamethrower, right? Someone sent him a flamethrower and he was wearing it the next time. But Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard, especially like at this point they aren't getting directly paid for any of this, I don't think. I think at this point it's still like a charity thing. So yeah, it feels like a tad like an advertisement. Yeah, I don't know. Not sure on how I feel about how he got the robe. Yeah, I definitely was like, when he started telling the story, I was like, oh, he bought the robe. And then he didn't buy the robe, but also like he was streaming on his own channel. Like that's like an inherent part of streaming, is that people give you money normally to do things or for specific things. So it's a little weird in the way that all of that is kind of weird, and then it's kind of stacked on top weird that it feels like he's almost using his CR fame to parlay into his own personal fame. It feels a little bit odd, but when I say I'm maybe overly permissive, I don't know that it feels that odd. And if I didn't know, yeah, I don't know. You know, it's if I was just watching this raw as a critter, you know, had no idea that he's getting kicked off and that there's all this drama and whatever. And if I hadn't seen everything before this of him being like kind of weird, I probably wouldn't think too much of this. Like if this exact same situation happened with like Grog or Liam, where they're like, I was on stream, I mentioned that I liked this thing, and then someone gave me money to buy it, I probably wouldn't think too much of it. So, I don't know. Biased knowledge, yeah. Yeah, like, I would think it's weird in the way that, like, all, like, crowd-funded, like, fan funding is like, kind of inherently a little off. It's why I'm not, like, honestly I'm not that much looking forward to, like, direct tips and like super chats and all that kind of, it doesn't weird me out too much, but it weirds me out a little. I'm more looking forward to like being able to put a shop underneath my videos so that you guys can like buy merch directly. Cause then like you're giving money and you're getting something back. And you know, if I'm earning money off of AdSense, like you guys are like watching an ad and like your time is what you're spending, which is what you're already spending on me. You're not like directly just handing me money. Like that feels a little odd. I'm not gonna like turn off super chats. I'm not that against it, but it adds this whole other layer when it's like directly giving him money for this thing. That is kind of odd. All right, and we are going to go to 11-11. 11-11-11. Which I will also say, I'm still ideating 500 stuff. I have a couple ideas. Right now, I'm leaning towards doing some sort of Jackbox night with the Discord. Something like that. Maybe with a bunch of other creators, and then, you know, you guys can hop in the audience, or potentially just with the Discord. But then, you know, only a certain amount of people can be in each game. I don't know. I don't know about that. I know 421 subs. It's getting close. I was really excited about 400, but like 500 is gonna be crazy. It's like a whole different thing. Yeah, it's exciting. But I'm either thinking about doing that or a Q&A. I don't know that there's quite enough people yet for a Q&A. I don't know that you guys want to know that much about me for that to be the whole thing. So I'm thinking about like something that's a little bit off my normal content that we can do for 500. But yeah, it's getting close, and we're going to do a merch drop. I don't know how many items, I don't know how many designs, and it's not going to be like big YouTuber merch drop where they're like working with a company. It's going to be on Redbubble. But I'm working with Eden on some ideas and some designs, and all of the money from that will go directly back to him because right now he doesn't get a dime. Because I don't get a dime. So when the dimes start coming in, that'll all go to him. So that's very exciting. And you guys will be able to get some cool designs. Hopefully you like them. And that is about it. Let's do it.
So,
also with all that, like, subscribe, comment.
as the evening progresses, you all manage to get your rest and kind of gather your thoughts over the rather stressful experience you had previous evening within the palace. The next morning comes around, you all come to consciousness. Breakfast is prepared by the servants of the keep.
Turn this up.
As you all wake up and start getting your meals and kind of gathering.
And I will say
what
this
you
is a
wanna do for the day.
slightly longer episode, so I am going to keep it at 1.5 the whole time, jacking it to 1.75 during combat. If there's a particular section that you guys think is super impactful, feel free to tell me to slow it down in chat or to rewind or whatever. Going back up and zoom up a bit. Hello, Ed.
Two individuals have not come down for their meal. Lilith and Percy.
Wait. Not everyone. We're missing two. A male and a female.
Oh, no.
Well, I don't know. Percy had a...
Percy was upset.
Maybe
well,
he needed some comforting.
Oh, I see. You said they're having relations.
I'm not saying that.
perhaps we should check on them?
No, there are two.
We should totally check on
Okay, but if there's a sock or a gun on the doorknob, don't go in.
Don't go in.
Okay.
Or a ribbon. She wore a ribbon.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I was thinking last night, Grog, that we're probably going to be here for a little bit before going anywhere. Or do we go anywhere? I mean,
We have to go see Uriel.
who? Oh, right. Yes. Also, I really want to see Aurora for no particular, actually for very specific reasons. Yes.
I think he's lying.
One of them is I want to pick up one of the earrings of telecommunication.
Does she have it?
It has been finished for quite some time. We just have to go to where she resides to pick it up. Then one of us could have another one.
That robe just takes it to a whole new level.
Yeah, it really does.
So I feel so good.
I'm somewhat entranced.
It's like I'm telling you, it's helping too.
I feel a little tingle for myself.
First
Can I
character
roll for a
right
paycheck?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, beer check?
I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
6, 2.
You wake up.
It is a dope robe. Beyond everything else, it's a sick ass robe. I would love shit like that. Oh, I already had my whole shtick about how I want cooler clothes. That's such a cool fucking piece. Oh man.
Realizing that the morning is transpired, you reach up and grab. And what you guys notice as he comes up is there is a dark charcoal smear across one side of his face where facial hair would once be, to match the other side that is currently.
To be clear, that is not a fucking donate for any of that. That is if you know where to get cool clothes like that, just let me know and I will buy it.
Beautiful
Glorious.
cloth and shining and the dapples of morning light that come through the keep window.
You know the remedy for it? You just turn your face in a looking
Yeah.
glass. That's all there.
You look amazing, Glog.
My God, I'm
From
so
this-
handsome.
From this perspective.
Right, and then
Oh.
horror.
Yeah.
Sheer horror.
Just.
Oh yeah, reset the OAC.
Oh, so it looks normal
illusion
again?
I know where Taliesin shops. I agree.
Again?
With like dust
I
bunnies.
like it. Yeah. Beautiful. Don't touch it.
The color's a little off, but it looks better than not having it.
In my head, you're like those like Mr. Woolly, like magnetic.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
toys
Like,
you're irritated with, draw with.
Yeah, I would shave it and get it even, but let's be honest. Given history, it's going to take care of itself soon enough. These things don't live very long.
I'm gonna go upstairs and see if
Oh no, I'm so nervous. Okay, I'm so nervous because I know that Taliesin gets kicked. Or not Taliesin, sorry, not Taliesin. Orion. I know that Orion gets kicked sometime in the next 4 episodes. I know he doesn't make it past 40. And I was pretty sure his like first episode not being here was after 26. Like I was pretty sure that like we're gonna not see him anymore sometime between 27 and 29. Which now means that we're in the range. Like we're in the range where like any episode could be the one. Cause I really don't think that he's getting kicked off mid-episode. Like, I don't think that he's, like, I don't know, like throwing out, like, Nazi swastikas and they just kick him out of the studio. Like, I really doubt that that's what happens. Which means that it is something like the Laura incident that happens the episode before, and then he's gone next episode. And so now we're in the range where, like, it could be this episode. And so when Robin is like, this is the best one, I'm like, is it? Is that gaslighting? Is that real? I mean, it's obviously not real. It's obviously not all downhill from here. But is that? I don't know. Oh, it makes my tummy feel upset.
Percy just yet, but...
You head to the guest room.
Maybe he quits? That would be... I'm sure that when it gets talked about, it'll be a mutual decision, and I'm sure that there will be absolutely nothing mutual about it.
One guest from upstairs is amongst the rest of the rooms. You guys had
They're
constructed.
gonna be getting it on.
You knock on the door.
Lilith,
Moment passes. No response.
Lilith, are you with Percy? Lilith.
You knock a second time on the door, kind of opens a little bit. It's not really been locked or closed.
I peek my head in.
Mutually,
You can look.
yeah.
Did you check the traps?
Roll no, I'm kidding. Damn it! No, already off. No, as you peek into the room, the lights are dimmed. A little bit of candles are in there. Glancing in, the sheets are clean and set. The bed's been made, and there is a small piece of parchment that is folded on the edge of the bed.
Go and read it.
It reads, Vox Machina. Thank you all for your hospitality and protection through this past evening. I would stay, but the longer I remain, the more danger I am in. And as such, put all of you in as well. I shall travel across the Ozmit Sea to seek the guidance of my cousin Zara, in hopes of finally getting out from under my sister's baneful gaze. Nevertheless, I wish you all the finest of journeys, and I hope we meet again soon. Lilith.
Dude, I love someone doing the accent of someone else with an accent doing an accent. We're like 3 accents deep.
She's so cute. I go
I
back
liked her
downstairs.
bow.
Yeah,
That was
it's really
cute.
great.
Yeah.
I tell everyone that she's gone. Gone, gone, gone.
No. She's in
Gone.
Percy's room. Scanlan, let's go see if he's...
SSH, I'm sure that is a fire reference. I don't get it at all, but I'm sure it's fire. Let's try to keep mum on the Orion details. Yeah, it's like 3. I am almost positive that the event that triggers his leaving will be within the next 3 episodes. So it's like every episode that we get through, I'm like,
Back in.
All right, let's go.
You run up, and Percy's room, the door is already partially ajar.
Where is he? Where is he?
Wham!
Yo, so-and-so.
Slams on the side of the door. Looking in the room, he's not there is the first thing you notice. However, what you do see are a series of different books of sketches and designs and kind of half-concocted blueprints for different things are kind of crumpled and torn across the room. The bed sheets are thrown off the bed. It looks like the room has been continuously tossed through some sort of frenzied action, either sinking something or just out of emotional frustration. This room is left in far more disarray than you're used to seeing true to Percy's character.
My God, Grog. Percy's a hoarder.
Right.
Or he's in serious distress.
I think it's the previous.
The hoarder.
Yeah, probably.
We must find him, don't you think? Our friend's in trouble. I proceed down to his tinkering lab, or doesn't he have some sort of
Yeah,
lab
he's
downstairs?
My room's like shit. I'm not in trouble.
Well, that goes with your character.
Yeah, you head down to the basement area, and to the right is the cell, to the left is the workshop. The workshop door is currently closed. There's a small kind of slider, kind of eye vent where you can kind of peek through.
Can I reach the eye vent?
You can if you leap hard enough and catch it on the edge.
I boost him up.
Okay. Looking inside, you can see the forge is aglow. You hear the tangs of metal being hammered against the anvil, and you can see the form of Percy kind of framed against the backlighting of the forge. He's feverishly working away on some sort of project.
Is he naked?
No, he's working too hard. Maybe we should just leave him be. Seems
Well, and this is nice. This is nice because we've already established that Percy has several in-progress projects. One of them was diplomacy, but I think there's 2 others. So, he's gone. He's working on the forge. He's had a tough fucking day. So I think it's, timer. It's very reasonable for this to be his absence, and it can sort of be, a productive absence so that, like, when he gets back, he has one of his new toys or whatever. Maybe they can even, him and Matt can do a short little call where, they roll the D20s, they roll the checks, whatever, to see how much progress he made during the time that elapses. So that seems reasonable.
focused, driven like a madman.
Oh, I get it. Like a madman.
I don't think you do.
At which point a voice rings out from across the room. Percy, unmoving, still doing his work, shouts over his shoulder, "Please, leave me be. I have a lot to think about right now."
Would you like a meal brought down?
I'm fine. Thank you. Really, just I need some time.
All right, if you're making things, a little ladder for the little perch here might be nice, just in the future. But not now, that seems low priority.
He stops his banging, walks over and scribbles something on a paper, and goes back banging. Noted. Ting, ting.
I drop Scanlan. And I lean and I go, beware the water, it burns.
Yes, it does, Grog.
Okay.
Good boy.
All right, so we go back up.
There we go.
Tell the fellows. Percy's in the mood. He's creating right now. I think we should just leave him be.
Understandable.
Let him get it out of his system.
I'm really worried about him.
Yes.
I'm gonna, Matthew, roll. Just rolling.
Sure.
Rolling through.
12. I'm trying to teach my pets.
Just rolling. Just rolling before Matt asks, do we not have it? Oh, no.
I rolled 12.
4.
Oh, I wanted to follow.
But 4.
To follow.
To follow.
Okay. You gather
I do
based
love me
on
some spicy water.
the recent intensity of trying to teach things to Lockheed over the past week. You succeeded in a few. There was a bit of balking frustration that perhaps you've overstepped a little bit, and Lockheed feels maybe there's less of a friendship here more than a real master-servant relationship, at least in this moment, and doesn't seem to be receptive to your attempt.
He's in the mood also. Is everybody in a mood today?
I know. It's just Percy's hate smelting downstairs.
Percy has good reason to hate Smelt. He seemed rather disturbed that the Briars got away.
Yes. I feel responsible.
Just
You are.
out of curiosity, did anyone else hear him? Did anyone else just happen to hear what he said in that fight last night?
I was a little preoccupied by watching him shoot a servant boy.
Now, we obviously can't call Orion Limp Biscuit, but I am in favor of something like Flaccid Pancake. You know, that could work. Like, or maybe like Soggy Muffin. I think Soggy Muffin could be a good one, for copyright reasons. It's just one of those days. And Lucky Events is 10 levels last 2. He's I don't know if that check was makeable or if, Matt was always going to respond that way, but Matt needed to cut it off somewhere. I do, again, as a lot of times with this, I wish that it at least seemed like they were having a discussion off table. Like, maybe Matt reached out and be like, hey, like, remember you've been teaching Lockheed too many things. Oh, I don't know. maybe cool, slow it down a little bit. Like, I wish that was a conversation that was happening, and it's clearly not. But I don't massively blame them. As I talked about with Ashley with someone in the comments, at this point, this is still very much, not even a side gig for them. This is just like hanging out and having fun with their friends still. Like, I think we're starting to transition into the point of them like taking it super seriously, and like actually considering it like a big like side thing that is like theirs and not just Geek and Sundries. But I don't know that we're like quite there yet. So to some degree, Matt is still, doing they're all still doing voice acting work. They're all still doing their own work, plus any side gigs that they already had, plus this. So I can forgive Matt for it slipping his mind. Notice how Travis asked for his beard check instead of just rolling? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's a small thing. It really is at the end of the day, but it is that like those small flashpoints that really drive home the difference of like, well, what is the difference, right? Because the things that Orion is doing consistently are not that bad, but they all add up to this pattern of bad behavior and bad vibes. And I've said a lot of times that I think that there are things that could have been done to mitigate them, but they're not. And that's okay. I don't think that those things are necessarily things that you should have to expect out of the other players or the other DMs. It all mostly depends on how much you want to keep the person in the group, honestly. And there's a whole other, there's another layer, there's another dimension here to it all being on stream, to it being an entertainment product, them being public performers. That adds a lot of layer of weirdness that you wouldn't have to deal with at a home table. But Orion is playing this like a video game, maxing his relationship with Lockheed. Hey man, if that's how you want to play TTRPGs, that is a valid way to go about playing a TTRPG. But it's pretty clearly not how the other players are playing. And even that is okay. You don't have to play the same as everyone else at your table. But I think the really big overarching thing is you need to not be a dick if someone butts against it, which he's actually been doing better at in the past few episodes. It's why the OAC hasn't moved all that much in the past 4 or 5 episodes. Is because he's actually been doing good at like taking criticism lately. So I don't know. We're going to see. It's why it's making me nervous. I know that this thing is coming, but if I was watching this Raw, I'd be like, man, he's getting a little bit better. So it almost makes me even more nervous. I'm like, no, what's happening? Exactly 401 times. Yeah, exactly that many. He's playing BG3 15 years early. I'm sure he loves BG3. I'm sure that's all over his stream.
Boy, over and over and over again.
Yeah, it was after that, actually.
What did you say?
Never mind.
What? No, spit it out. What did he say?
Say that.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Is it a curse
Percy,
word?
I don't know where he
Is it
gets
fuck?
these lines.
Is it shit? Was it something?
No, that
Could go
wouldn't be
cock,
alarming
balls,
to me.
dong, wang,
Splat.
Oh,
teeth.
jeez.
All right.
Donkey wang.
Don't be wang.
This is getting really off
While this is
subject.
going on, I'm gonna go down to my laboratory.
What did he say?
He said it was when he was screaming the cluster of things as he was shooting that
definitely would have
like
been a surprise
mercenary
to me.
in the face, and he said, "What are you doing? You have no reason to be here. Your soul is now forfeit." Really, that last part is the most important one. The first stuff is like, fairly average. But yeah, your soul is now forfeit.
It's a good line.
Well,
thought he was just trash talking. You think there's more to it?
I thought it was maybe a line, and then I just couldn't. It seemed really aggressive and strong and specific. So it made me think a lot. I don't know.
Did you ask him about it at all?
Is this a moral dilemma? I don't really know if it's a moral dilemma. I think it's more just RP, but maybe.
We haven't seen him since that happened.
What do you think?
What do you think? Like his pepper box is what?
I think he's not telling us everything. That's for sure.
Well, we all have some secrets.
Yeah, but screaming your soul is now forfeit, that's not like a secret. That's,
Well,
saying you peed the bed when you were a kid. That's
I
like a
worry
secret.
too, but he did lose his entire family.
He did pee the bed when he was young.
Oh, really?
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But he lost his entire family to those people.
Sure, but he wasn't screaming this at the Briarwoods. He was screaming this at a random mercenary.
Well,
What does that mean?
Marisha was criticized for this? Man, I do not. It's hard. I don't want to. I worry sometimes with how much I defend Marisha that it will seem like I'm defending her just because she got criticized or just because she's a woman. But I legitimately just 90% of the time agree with Marisha about the things she's being criticized over. I think this is a great bit of roleplay. Obviously, I don't think that Marisha is confused about why he said the soul is forfeit or whatever. Or if she was legitimately concerned, she would just ask Taliesin about it. This is Keyleth. She's playing Keyleth. Keyleth does not understand. And Keyleth is also one of the 3 magic users at the table. I'll be honest, pretty warlocky. And she brings up a very valid point about the pepper box that I didn't even think of the pepper box has all their names written on it. And yeah, that's cool. And that's intense. And that's a fucking oath or whatever. But also in the context of him saying your soul is forfeit, also seems like maybe the pepper box traps their soul. That is not a crazy leap to make in this world. That if he shoots you with the pepper box, it fucking traps your soul. And especially, I don't know if Marisha knows this or not. I don't know if they all know about the black cloud that gave him the design for the pepper box, I believe. I don't think it gave him the design for the bad news. I think it gave him the design for the pepper box. So I could see there being some concern about that certain verbiage in character. I think that's a very reasonable thing for Keyleth to go with. The Skylar White of Critical Role she is. Yeah. wasn't there live, but from my POV, she was being hyper criticized. Yeah, and it's weird because I don't want it to seem like I'm defending her just because I think she's being hyper criticized. I just legitimately agree with her. I think the smoke gave him both. There are no guns pre-Percy in Exandria. There you go. I mean, yeah, so it's like, so you know, the wording's intense, and I think this is a super fair thing to bring up to everyone. And it's the sort of thing that you wouldn't bring up while Percy's there. Like so it makes sense of like, hey, like, do we think Percy's losing it a little bit, everybody? Like, yeah, I think she's totally fair. I was a Keyleth hater too for a bit until I went to the CR Reddit where I saw actual Keyleth hating. It made me rethink my look at her. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I can understand, especially like if you are, I can understand an amount of hate of like these people coming in and like kind of being the faces of this game now and not really maybe being like the most caring representatives of it. And that's not to say that I don't think that like Marisha cares, but I think that especially in the beginning, you know, she got a lot of shit for not knowing what her spells did. But as I was just talking about, I mean, this was a total side thing from them. It went from being, you know, a random home game to this streamed thing, and it just blew up out of the water. So I think, you know, her and Ashley maybe not like really understanding like a lot of the integral mechanics or getting confused is very natural that way. But I can also see some hate when it's like, okay, but now you're the face, you should just go and look it up. But we have much different, you know, we have a different view of what this is than they do. This was my least favorite for a while, but yeah, never like the other hate she got. Yeah, none of them are perfect, but the amount of toxic gatekeeping was huge. Yeah. Went from Homebrew Pathfinder 5e. Yeah. I think we're all on the same page, but yeah, especially for this one, for this question, I think it's very reasonable, and it's all giving me even more No Mercy Percy's a Warlock vibes.
Maybe his soul is forfeit.
To what?
Death?
Maybe we keep an eye on Percy.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, though. We'll keep an eye on him. He seems to be in a fragile state right now.
Percy's not the one who killed a poor old woman, though.
Did we kill her?
Oh.
I'd like to point out that last night and all
I thought we just made her sleep and walked
I
away.
used my research.
No, total massacre.
Tiberius
Tiberius-
destroyed her.
Mutilation.
Tiberius, you killed an old woman.
Like a pasta factory.
I'm not there. I'm
She
not
wasn't,
there.
she wasn't an old
Yeah,
woman
that's actually
crossing
another
the
thing
street,
I wanted to
though.
talk
know she
about.
was-
That was also really intense. You know, I get it. I get it. It was a hard day. It was a hard day, and you know, we tend to get a little aggressive sometimes after hard days. We've all been there. But he didn't just
totally.
murder an old woman. He
No, Tiberius
chainsawed.
murdered an old woman.
He chainsawed her, a sleeping unconscious woman.
It was pretty correct.
Are you saying that we should take it down a notch? Or maybe not
I just-
brutally destroy the bad guys, but just give them...
You.
I mean, it's really hard for me. Yeah, and I have a little bit of a defense here because she's just repeating all of the things that I said during the fight. So I think I have a lot of shielding here of like I've been on Keyleth's wavelength. But yeah, I agree with what y'all are saying. I gotta respect the timer. I gotta not talk about it anymore.
So
But yeah,
kind of we're the
I think-
only
I
other
think we're on
one
the
who
same
seemed to be
page.
kind of confused as to what was going on, and
I shot her.
And-
I shot her in the back.
You-
Let's be honest. I didn't chainsaw her, but I did shoot her in the back as she was
Right.
running
I made
away.
her go to sleep. That was peaceful.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm a nice
that was
guy.
good. That was
I was
nice.
aiming for her shoulder if it makes any difference.
Sure.
Is
You did
this...
have that sweet little run, which was so cute.
I just don't.
Are you
want-
saying that... Are you feeling morally... Are you taking moral exception to some of our behavior?
That
But
might
this
be
is
exactly what I'm saying.
definitely
This is
Keyleth
why
has
I like you,
moral
Stanley. You're so much better at the words than me.
I have many reasons
I didn't
to
even.
be
I
liked.
don't think I even knew that's what I felt until you said it just now.
Well, this is something perhaps you should pray on and think on, and if there's something you'd like us to change about our behavior, we can consider that. We're all friends. We're allies here. We should pay respect.
Family, Keyleth.
I just don't want us to.
It's a fair point. We don't want to be corrupted by the very evil that we mean to stamp out in this world.
Exactly. I don't
She
want us to
was
lose who we are.
trying to kill us.
She was.
But your point is taken.
She was a really old woman.
It's
She
true, but
wasn't
she
the
was.
secretary. She was trying
She
to
was
kill.
a fighter.
Sure, but she was unconscious.
She actually didn't do anything either.
Yeah.
Okay.
She didn't really do anything
She
at
could
all.
have been taking notes.
She had a wand. She had a wand.
Yeah, maybe for writing or
I'm not
drawing.
saying she wasn't a threat, and I'm not saying we shouldn't handle threats. I'm saying maybe we shouldn't dissect a woman with a spinning crawl blade who's sleeping on the ground,
All right.
defenseless, running away.
You know,
she was fleeing.
this is constructive criticism, and we'll take it as such. And I, for one, will maybe not desecrate and denigrate bodies.
Just beds and temples.
Beds are fair
Oh
game.
no,
Come
I
on.
don't know. I mean, I see what Keyleth's saying, but I don't really want to cramp your style,
Yeah,
Scanlan.
probably should keep shitting on things.
Oh, I'll shit on things.
Please,
Maybe not
please.
people.
We're like
good.
the A-team, and that's your specialty. I don't really want to... See, you should just shit when you feel the urge.
What time is it? Do we need to be getting to Uriel?
Oh, yeah, what time is it?
At this point, it's probably pushing at 11 a.m. Close.
Yeah, I am gonna throw one on the annoyance tally because he was there. He was there, and then he interrupted the role playing like really low of like, hey Matthew, like, and be like, hey, can I do this thing? I couldn't even catch what he was saying because he was talking under the great role playing, and during the middle of him saying, I don't want to be there anymore, to Matt, not to everyone else, they make some comment at him, and he goes, oh, I'm not there. And it's like, brother, you were until you started whispering to the DM while all of us were having fun and playing the game. Like, I don't know.
Afternoon.
Oh,
We
tonight
should
today, gotta go.
probably be getting to the palace. Ah.
Tiberius, what did you say you were doing down there? What would you say you were doing down in your laboratory?
Well, I was doing my research stuff last night and this morning. Just using my.
Your which one?
It's just my ability because of my class. I do my backstory. But what I was doing is
Backstory is,
I was writing down
backstory is...
the noble sage.
Well, there's a noble and there's a sage.
Yeah, no. And like I spliced them because it makes sense. So
Okay.
like, no, the noble part is the RP. The sage is the perk.
Okay, gotcha.
Ability.
That's good enough. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I'm writing down the sigil to keep. That's completed.
Okay, so the sigil's there for you. All right, and so as the sage... All right.
What?
Okay, so yeah, not difficult to research. There are a number of books that deal with older books and the things that were kind of installed as part of the construction of this laboratory for you, and information that you kind of gathered since. There are various bestiaries and gatherings of information about the dangerous denizens and the...
What does the sage even do? I will admit that this is an area of 5e that I may not have the most encyclopedic knowledge of. What the fuck does the sage do? Oh, the timer was still going? We'll leave it. That's fine. Determine the nature of your scholarly training. Roll a d8. Researcher. When you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, you often know, usually this information comes from this. But what is he trying to research? Did he talk to Matt about it? It is not, I don't think he talked to Matt about it. I feel very confident that he did not talk to Matt about whatever the fuck he is researching. And just the way that he went about that interaction was also pretty bad. Uh-oh. Oh no, this is not good. We're backsliding, everyone. We're backsliding. Chose to separate himself. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I just did what I wanted without telling you. I knew you wouldn't mind. You don't get too bad. Look, dude, if he wants it, like... He's like, I spliced them together. The noble was the background lore, and the sage was the mechanic. And it's like, okay, if that's all, that's just called having, like, an actual, like, that's just a backstory and a background. That's the, like, what do you mean you spliced them together? I have no idea what we're talking about. How often does anybody use background feats in their games? I honestly think people should use them more. I'm a big proponent of backgrounds and of having interesting background feats. I think some of them are very cool. I think Acolytes is very cool. I think Outlanders sucks. I think some of them are pretty interesting. But I'm a big fan of trying to build a background feature that makes sense for a character. But you know, I'm basically saying, oh man, I like to homebrew things. Crazy. Yeah, I do wish that backgrounds are more of a thing, but yeah, Matt said good to know about the half background. Wasn't the researcher sage already? Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I'm so confused, man. He's relapsing. He wants to be both a noble and a researcher. I mean, I don't think he's using the noble's feature. He said, the noble is the background and the researcher's the mechanic. If he does use the noble background, that's fucked. That's just terrible. But, I think there's a Pathfinder BG he had that I guess was both Sage and Noble. John, he said Noble Sage. After the transition, he took the Sage Research ability and the Noble Calling on Family Name ability. He took both? I don't know. I don't know, dude. It's terrible. I use Outlander. My guy always, no. Sorry. When I said Outlander sucks, it's really, really good. It's like stupid good. Outlander's amazing. I want to be very clear about that. Outlander basically just bypasses what little there is in the exploration pillar. Which is why I don't like it. I like things that are a little bit more specific, a little bit more niche than Outlander. It's very good. I'm going to rewind. Okay, see you in a bit, John. He uses the noble background for clout. He does use the noble background for clout. Yeah. Yeah, he does. Yeah, we're gonna have a few more ticks on the OAC. Isn't the feature getting treated better because you're noble? Yeah, it's yeah. All right, I'm gonna progress because we're running out of timer, and I feel like there's even more rabbit holes we can go down. That just sucks.
Around you, and it is a very dangerous place outside of the few points of civilized, society that has kind of built up its own defenses. Throughout the evening and the morning, you've managed to find eventually a piece that talks about various undead entities and the process of undeath and necromantic magics that have been perverted throughout the generations to defy the natural cycle of life. You do come across an entry about vampirism. It is extremely rare and was largely thought abolished close to 200 years ago. There are rarely, very, very rare whispers of any sort of cases out there, and usually as soon as something comes to any sort of public knowledge, large mobs gather, and who was infected with this horrible, horrible state was hunted down and killed. What you do learn from this is religious symbology, while classically thought to have an effect on people afflicted with vampirism, actually has no effect. It's more of a superstition, but does not actually have any negative impact on the individual. However, certain things that do render a vampire and render it easier to destroy, the presence of sunlight. Anything that casts sunlight can damage them progressively the longer they're in it, prevent them from restoring their health, and ultimately destroy them, turn them to ash should they be brought to the brink of death in the presence of sunlight. Also, very quickly and consistently rushing water. Being held into a rushing stream or under a...
This is a lot of info to give them. I'm not saying it's bad. Like, I think that the level and the degree to which you want to give out this sort of information is totally up to your discretion as a DM. However, with the type of story that I think Matt is setting up, I think that the three things that he's mentioning, the, traditional religious symbology has no effect. That's one thing. Running water, that's two things. Sunlight, that's three things. I would have hidden these three things separately, right? If these are like, talking about their core weaknesses. This just more feels, I don't know. It's a little bit too lore dumpy, especially when it's coming directly from the DM, right? It's not hidden within the environment. He's not reading a passage that maybe implies all of these three things. If you are talking to the players directly as a DM, I try to limit it to like one thing. So like, and that is to say, like, I'm not totally against DMs, telling players information directly, especially if you don't have this prepared ahead of time. There's no way you're going to have a fucking passage, that has these clues hidden within it. There's no shot that you have that, right? But if you are going to give them this abstract information, I try to limit it down. I try not to have a book that's just a tell-all about vampires, right? So and then I think that it allows you, number one, to not break up the pace too much, which you guys know I talk about pace all the fucking time. But even from a non-pacing point of view, I still think that rationing out this information can be more interesting, because then it can allow you to deliver it in interesting ways later. Like the rushing water thing, they could encounter the Briarwoods with a stream running in the middle of them. Or he could bake that into encounters later, and that can be an interesting part of the puzzle for the people that don't know it. But you also want to reward things like this. You want to reward feature use. Like, I think that's a really good thing to do. So when someone uses features, I just try not to give them the whole piece of the pie. I want some parts of the pie to be hidden experimentally within the environment. They have to go out and do things in order to discover it. Some parts to be hidden behind just who they talk to. Are they thinking critically about who might have information? And then the third piece of the pie of, okay, they used a feature use. I want to reward their particular builds, their particular decisions on how they built this character, right? It's these kind of three pieces of the pie. I'd expect to get basically the stat block if my BG let me research that stuff. I mean, to be specific about what the Sage does, the Sage does not just directly give you that stuff. You have to know what you're researching, and either the Sage lets you find it, or it lets you find the place that information might exist. And I don't even know what he was researching, so it's hard to tell if Matt's going overboard or not. But I certainly wouldn't give out a stat block. I would never give out a stat block. The moment you give out a stat block, you are just cuffing a fucking ball and chain to your ankle as a DM. It is meaning that you can never modify that stat block ever again. I don't know. It's very restrictive from a narrative point of view. Yeah, but Orion already Googled it anyway. Vampires are also a big thing in pop culture, so it's hard to separate that meta knowledge. Yeah, which is why I think that him. Okay, I'll be really quick with this since the timer's out. I think that that's the interesting thing. Is I would have given them just the part about the religious symbology not working, so that you make it clear that there is something different, that they maybe can't rely on their meta knowledge, and then leave it at that, and have them research it other ways.
Waterfall would have a similar effect to sunlight. You do also know that the stake in the heart is also considered to be a way to destroy them. It doesn't actually destroy them, but it does render them paralyzed, and it has to be done when they're in their resting place, within their coffin, and or the dirt that is considered their resting location. Usually that is the beginning step to find and locate where the vampire is resting, stake in the heart, and then carry the body to sunlight or rushing water, and that's how they're permanently destroyed.
Another
also find out that the vampire is thought to be killed under any other
interesting
circumstances. The body turns to mist and is nigh invulnerable, and eventually finds its way back to wherever they've hidden their resting place to recover within a very short period of time, making them extremely dangerous unless you have the right situation, the right conditions to bring them to that point. So that information is now at your disposal. It is now at your disposal.
Wonderful.
Do you want to tell us what you
I did it right this time. I did it right this time. Knowing that
and that is what I didn't say during the first part, is that, I was trying to give the generic advice, how I would do it at my table. Yeah, exactly, Robin and Rebecca. Yeah. I'm taking some annoyances for that, because that's, if we're talking about Doyleist and Watsonian reasons, at most tables, I would say, hey, don't do that. That's I think that's actively less fun than maybe some other ways to do it. But at this table, Matt knows Orion's going to use it anyways. So the driving force here is not to set up a clever mystery or leak out information to players. It's not to be fun. It is, oh man, I need to contain this behavior and make a Watsonian reason up for this thing that Orion's already gonna fucking do. Three of us zeroing in on the now. Oh, you're totally right to. You're totally right to circle in on the now. It's, yeah, placating him. Yeah. Which so that is the underlying thread here of everything that I said doesn't actually matter. You know, Matt could have had other things planned. He could have had all these other things planned, but none of that environmental storytelling. You know, the things that I was talking about with, like, who to talk to, you know, set up a puzzle where that knowledge is, like, part of it. Like, none of that works if one of your players is going to use the meta knowledge inappropriately. Even, and I will say, to Matt's credit, even if you change the meta knowledge, right? Even if you change something about the monster and have it not be like the pop culture thing, if the metagamer acts on their meta knowledge and it doesn't work, they will get upset. And honestly, at my table, where, you know, someone getting upset is something that we can talk through, and, you know, we can maybe pause the session or we can end things early, that doesn't really work on stream, right? That doesn't, you can't have those really meta-breaking, show-breaking conversations mid-stream. You can't end a stream early. That's big drama. So I feel for Matt in that, like, the normal way I would go about resolving this is, like, even if my vampires are homebrewed and the meta player, you know, does something wrong, then they get mad about it, we're going to have a conversation about it right there and be like, hey, don't use your meta knowledge. You don't know what I'm doing right now. And we can have a conversation about that in the moment. They can't have that on stream. So it's a constraint that Matt is within that the vast majority of us will never find ourselves in. So I do feel for him there. If I was Matt, I'd homebrew my vampires so they had totally different weaknesses and stat blocks. Yeah, I change my monsters constantly. I will absolutely change my monsters in small things. And I mostly do it for narrative purposes. I don't just do it to fuck with players. I have done it in the past to fuck with players, but most of the time, yeah, I'll swap out a resistance here and there. I'll change a mechanic, you know, very slightly, so that it fits with the narrative better. So, you know, if it's a shambling mound that for some reason is from, like, the angelic holy plains, maybe I'll give it a resistance to radiant damage and I'll take away one of its existing resistances, like, you know, stuff like that. Tough for audiences with vampires, their expectations. Yeah, which is why I never use them. Yeah, you're right.
I take some files and I want to check. I want to check if I can. Nope, I can't do anything yet. That's it. I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay. So as you guys have kind of gathered the time and what you might want to be going forward and doing for the rest of the day, Tiberius comes upstairs with a bit of a smile and an air of confidence.
Oh, good, you're back.
Tibbs, we were just discussing sort of the future of the group and the direction we've been taking, and a point was introduced that maybe perhaps, you know, we started as a sort of a mercenary group is a bit strong, but this alliance we have formed out of convenience. You know, we all needed to eat, but now that we're at the stature we are, in a keep, in Amman, friends to the Emperor, we want to figure out what we're doing here. Do we want to be just powerful badasses who walk around getting what they want?
Yeah.
Or are we trying to enact some positive change in this world?
Yes, absolutely. That's what my items are for. I've only found one of them. There are still 3 or 4, if they even exist out there. There are countless things to go and venture forth and explore.
What are your items?
It's the artifacts. The Ring of Boros, the old hag. That is the next step in my quest. She told us.
Did he even hear the question? I really wanna go back and, like, understand. Did I misunderstand the question? Because it's, do we want to be powerful badasses, or do we want to affect positive change? And he said yes. And the way that he answered it is, I'm still not sure which he's addressing. What, your items? Yeah. Like, what? Make them vampires, just very flamboyant. Oh, dude. Okay. This is a great opportunity to announce it. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm working on a stream right now about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Not like a review or anything. So I think, don't tune out, don't click off. But about how I think that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure I'm calling it a beginner's guide to symbolism. I think that JoJo's is a really great example of how to do incredibly in-your-face obvious symbolism and still have it really work. And I think that a lot of DMs could take notes. Like, symbolism is hard. Symbolism is complicated. And I think in most DM or like D&D campaigns, symbolism boils down to just not being there. So I think that even obvious symbolism can do a lot to help your story. So I don't know when exactly that'll be. I was thinking maybe sometime this weekend, but I don't know how much time I'll have. But be looking out for that, because I think that that'll be a really cool thing. I will say I'm not talking at all about the vampires. I am mostly going to talk about stands. But the JoJo's vampires are very flamboyant.
It would be in the Feywood, right?
Feywild.
Feywild.
Of course. Damn it, researcher.
And that is where we need to go. But that's why we run into her in Vasselheim.
Yes.
And she wouldn't tell me anything more.
How do you plan to use your items for better good in the world?
Well, you've seen how I've used my mending wheel, so countless ways.
Yeah, thank you. You healed my cask.
You healed that
I will
rug.
always be grateful.
Moreover, it proved to the council that all of the things that I went on this journey for to begin with, it was true and all for naught. And really to gain the respect of my father and everyone else. You don't know how hard it is to be a chromatic dragon in a metallic world. It's not easy.
Well, there's no question that you are an invaluable member of Vox Machina.
That was weird. No. Yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
And our friend and our family, and that is not in question.
Which is why I've...
No, we were talking about JoJo Siwa. There's like vampires in one of her music videos or something.
My loyalty to you all. And I need your strength as well. There's no way I could accomplish my mission alone. I mean, Grog, when I ran into you to that one bar, how many men were you beating up? I counted 8, if I recall.
I think that sounds right.
You can't count.
Right.
It's happening.
Yeah. Here was this brute who I would have most ran away from, but here you were, and I found you to be rather charming. And I figured, well, that's some good company to keep, brother.
Yep.
And then I met the rest of you, and look where we are now.
Tiberius, the point of this is,
Yeah.
you killed an old woman last night very brutally. Please, maybe don't do that again.
She felt nothing, but of course. And I was giving my new clawblade a good old try.
Yes, you were. Maybe not on sleeping people anymore.
Oh.
People actually attacking us.
She was... Okay, fine,
Yes.
I guess.
Well, I think the point is your abilities in arcane wonder are expanding daily, exponentially. And perhaps, be a little tentative, do a little practice run in the woods on your own once in a while and see what the effects are before you go
Are there woods near?
whipping it
There
out.
This is an intervention. I love you very much,
This is
but
not an
you killed an old lady.
I like the way you kill people.
Yeah, well, yes.
But we're all on the up and up now, right?
One raises a hand to me or Vox Machina, they are going to die.
Yeah, they are.
It is simple. I do not know why this is a discussion. And I won't be as cruel.
Raise a
next
hand.
time.
She
If
didn't
that's
really
your call.
do anything.
We are not.
She was really,
She opposed
really
and then she ran
old.
away.
She was
and then she
attacking us.
died.
She was attacking us.
Healeth.
What?
Clearly, we all love you as family.
Yes,
and
of
nobody
course.
blames you, but you once killed a child, and none of us blame you.
Is
for
it too
that.
early to start drinking? I'll pull out the cask of ale.
And that happened in the heat of battle?
Yes.
It was
You know,
a
I'm
complete
really
accident.
sensitive about that, Vax.
But you just brought
I'm
it all up.
really sensitive about that, Vax.
I'm well aware. I'm well aware.
So, I'm just saying,
And that was
And-
different.
yes, it was
It was
a child.
an accident.
As opposed to,
That was pretty
She was trying to
fucking
save him.
deliberate what he did.
yes,
Everybody
to
is-
somebody who was opposing us. That was a child who was innocent.
She was trying
Or was
to
he
save
poisonous
him.
too? I don't remember, actually.
It all falls apart.
I'm being
Anyway,
puppeted by sorcerer Michael Jackson.
No one agrees with you today more than
Damn, Michael Jackson.
and I think we can adjust our perspective slightly. Right, Rob?
What's the word?
See?
Kill softer.
Moving forward.
I'll show you how. You just have to do it really slow.
Uriel's waiting for us.
I don't
Let's
wanna
table
get in
this.
trouble.
We'll stick a pin in this discussion.
Yeah, we'll pin in it.
We'll all be thinking long and hard
He
about
didn't-
this.
It wasn't intentional, and everybody knows that.
Absolutely not intentional. No.
I turn into Minxie and start walking towards the palace.
I'll go give a little
Alright.
gratifying to you.
So you guys gather and make your way into the city of Iman proper?
But actually, before we head towards Uriel, we probably should.
Yeah, that was tough. It's hard because it is really hard to separate that, like what just happened, from being an awkward IRL thing to be an awkward in fiction thing. Like, Yeah, it's really hard to tell. It's really hard to tell which it was. Because if that was awkward in fiction, then it makes sense. It's like it's a reasonable way for that role playing to end, to keep the tension over this issue of like there are members that are maybe have no problem with this killing stuff, and there are members that do, and there are members that are kind of trying to play it in the middle. I will say the thing that I didn't love about how it ended is that it felt like Keyleth was raising good points, and Tiberius didn't engage with the conversation and got like kind of like and turned it back on her, which could have been like a reasonable thing for Tiberius to do if he's being defensive about his his actions that he just did. But no one got on him for that. They only got on Keyleth, and that's like, it feels weird. I know what good RP feel like. Happy or sad feelings that didn't feel like good RP. Yeah. I think that's the thing, is it's like I can't quite hone in on what was wrong with that, but it was something. Like, I can't tell if it's that people were at different levels of seriousness. I think that's potentially part of it, is that like there were different levels of seriousness being brought into this conversation. That's what it mostly felt like. It mostly felt like Marisha was putting more narrative seriousness and weight into her words as Keyleth that the other players were not putting into their words. Like, I don't think that Tiberius was, or that Orion was like putting the same seriousness on Tibbs. I don't think that the same seriousness was put on Scanlan, which I find it hard to ever take Scanlan seriously for many reasons that I've gone through. And then Vex and Vax just seem to try to diffuse the situation rather than actually engage with it. So I think, okay, I'm talking through it. I think I've come to my conclusion. I think it felt weird because Marisha was trying to very earnestly RP and no one was meeting her there. They were doing various other things. They were kind of joking. They weren't taking it super seriously, but by the end, you just see Marisha's face and she's just like, okay, I guess we're just not doing this. Like, even the people that were agreeing with her, Scanlan, Vex, Vax, were just like, hey, we agree with you. Let's talk about it later. This is cringe. Let's not talk about this. And that feels weird because it feels like they just don't want to RP with her. Like, I find it plausible Tibbs doesn't regret or empathy as low as Wiz, but the RP didn't even touch on it, just took a completely different angle. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I missed last episode, but I never did fully understand the whole Tiberius brutally murdered a woman when she was clearly a combatant. Clearly a combatant is a little much, Restay. You can go and watch last episode. I had a lot to say about that fight. I am much more on Keyleth's wavelength of like, she was pretty helpless. She did not pose a real threat to them at all. Main bad guy, yeah. It was the fact that when he, I don't think she got, okay, difference. Yeah, okay. I think the timer ran out. Yeah, this is just a weird one. This is a weird one. I don't know. A weird convo.
Do we have any sort of proof that the Briarwoods actually did horrible things and it wasn't us attacking them?
Well, I've got these little scars right here.
Are they still there?
And
Yeah,
our
the
word.
scars are still there.
And
There's still wounds that are healing.
Friggin' sting,
That's
man.
true, that's true.
And the
All right,
person was
cool.
dead.
Just making sure
There's lots of things.
that we have some.
And then there was, what's his name? Awesome Pants, who was there.
Secret Asum?
Yeah, Secret Awesome.
Allura saw everything as well.
Did you see the fight?
Allura didn't see the fight.
She knows what's going on.
Oh, we know she knows what's up, but
All right.
whether she can be used as reliable witnesses.
Lilith is
We've
gone.
got multiple.
We're good. Let's go see
There were
Uriel.
those guards too. There was guards outside the door.
They were incinerated.
Oh yeah.
Let's stay with the Briarwoods guards anyway.
One of them was alive.
And where did he go?
He went away with the Briarwoods, I'm gonna assume.
I'm still scared.
We go to see Uriel.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree, John. I agree. We can talk about. I actually think that's a good long conversation about like war crimes and morality and like how to dive into those things and discuss them. For after episode Q&A.
I'll make a choice for the game.
As you're having this discussion, all of you make your way into the city of Amon, across the districts of the Cloud Top. You're greeted and let within the gate into the central district there. You make your way to the palace of Taldore, through the front doors, and the guards that are there lead you in, and one of them says, Uriel is waiting within the throne chamber. You guys are led down the main hallway into the very center of the palace.
I come out of Minxie.
Okay.
You come out of
The nervous guard, thankfully, puts his weapon away, and it's like, oh, Lady Keyleth, my apologies, and puts his spear to the side.
Trinket's still here, though.
I buzz over to that.
Yeah, we'll do a bio break in a second. I had a thing I was just about to pause for, so we can pause, do that thing, and then bio break. One of the things I will say, regardless of anything else, I do think that it is good to occasionally address the morality of your group. And I liked the way that, Keyleth kind of approached it. Then Vax and Vex followed up. I think that in that instance, there was a very clear breakdown of the communication. I don't know if that's because it was on stream or what was going on there. But I do think that it is a legitimately good thing to, in character, address the things that your characters are or are not comfortable with. This is kind of outside of like a session 0. You should talk about like lines and veils that you have as a player, which if you don't know that phrasing, I want to say it's WebDM, but it might also be Matt Colville. I can't remember. But a line is essentially something that you don't even want to like exist or ever have to think about within the world. So like one of mine is like sex crimes against children. Never even want that to be brought up as a theoretical thing that might exist in my D&D world. This is my off time. This is fun. And that's just like not something I want in my games. That's a line for me. And then a veil is kind of your classic fade to black scenario, where like things happen. So like to take it out, one step further, like I am okay with the theoretical possibility that like rape has happened in the games or somewhere in the world, but I would never want it on screen. That's like a veil. So like lines, never even consider it. And veils, like it can happen off screen, but it should never happen on screen. So those are lines and veils that I set up as a player. But I think it's also really good occasionally to address in character of like, hey, we're like a group that like travels around and is gaining a lot of power and like is going to be able to affect real change and like really do shit in this world. Like, what do we want that impact to be? And kind of define your priorities. Is it greed? Like, do you just want to get rich? Do you just want to get powerful, sort of regardless of the ethics or morality? Do you, as players, have lines in the sand? Or not as players, as characters have lines in the sand? Like, I think that those are good conversations to occasionally have. I think they can lead to really interesting RP. And they can make sure that the group doesn't do things or waste time or have consequences that characters are uncomfortable with, or that if they do, that they feel comfortable addressing those. Like, now that Keyleth has brought this up, regardless of how that went, she can now kind of point back to this conversation if something kind of sketchy happens again, like chainsawing that old lady. So I think that those, and she can now use that as a character, as a new RP moment for like jumping off. That said, the ethics are way squishier in fantasy versus real life. Just like playing GTA doesn't make you evil. No, I don't think, I want to be clear. I don't think that anything you do in character has a direct moral implication on you as a player inherently. Maybe a pattern of behavior does. Maybe, this line is vague. Like maybe interest in doing certain things might have some implications on you as a player. But if you've developed a nice, good space to explore some evil things, like that can be okay. But if you're playing a good character, it should bother the character. Yeah, totally, Ed. Yeah. And I think, yeah. And with that, fuck. The timer again. Yeah, if I think that's where I'll kind of leave the ethical conversation. If we do want to talk about it at the end, table that, remember it, and we'll talk about it more. We'll dive into it more. For now, we're gonna take a break. Get some water. Always hydrate or dehydrate. And I will see you all in a sec. All right, I'm back. What's up? How's everyone's bio break go? You have a nice pee. I know I did. All right. let's get back into it.
Specific art and say, do you have like a lost and found here? I have this really badass serpent-style belt. Sometimes it crawls around on its own. Sometimes it's just
What
a
up,
belt.
Darius?
And I lost it here the other night. And I'm really hoping. I mean, it ties everything together. Is there anyone I can check with?
Check back after you've spoken with the Sovereign, please.
Yes.
Thank you. Leaves you guys on. As you head down the main hallway, and you recall this hallway, this was a long, dangerous trek the first time you came to the palace. This is where Uriel's family was possessed. This is where you had your battle with the Glabrezu. This is where Pike was slain. This is where you had to pull the shadows from the bodies of his family. This is a very, very emotional place that you really haven't been to since that sequence of events. So walking in already has this kind of tenuous state of low simmering energy. As you're brought into the main chamber, you can see there's the dual thrones for Uriel and his wife. His wife's not present, his family's not present, just Uriel sitting on the throne. There are a few guards on the different entrances to the room. And as you walk in, Uriel just kind of sits on the throne and gives you acknowledgement and kind of ushers you into the room. You all step in, Trinket kind of behind you, keeping an eye up, like a bear is wont to do. You guys make your way up towards the very edge of the central raised dais where the thrones are currently set up on. You now see on the opposite side of the room, Seeker Asum and Allura walk in, as well as Arbiter Brahm, who's the cleric that is the master of law in the city. They walk up and kind of flank the sides of the throne, stepping back a little bit to not kind of gather all the attention, but definitely be there as a show of support. As they enter, the doors on the other side of the wall of the room and the door behind you open, and roughly 30 guards enter the chamber quietly. They all kind of filter in, blocking all the exits. The doors close. No weapons are drawn, but there's a very strong showing of muscle in this room that you weren't expecting for this meeting. Once all the guards are settled and a really awkward silence hits the room, Uriel stands up from the throne and looks upon you, pacing slightly back and forth.
Thank you all for joining me. I must say I am troubled by recent events, and I wish to speak to you regarding them before taking any action. I owe you that much for all you've done for me. Before you left for Vasselheim, you showed immediate interest in the Briarwoods. Percy in particular. Where is Percival?
He's
banging away at the keep.
Well, he's not feeling well today after the events of last night, so he stayed behind.
So then, please relay this conversation to him as soon as you see him. So, you exhibited interest in the Briarwoods before leaving for Vasselheim. I, through trust, did not inquire as to why, but upon your return, eagerly told you that they were coming to this feast and invited you as part of the Council of Taldore to join this feast, as it was your request. You graciously followed through. You showed up, a meal was had, questions were asked, although a few curious ones, I did not pry. Now, I've since been notified, and seen a bit of the aftermath, that you, Vox Machina, seemingly attacked our guests shortly. Please, listen. Attacked our guests shortly after the meal, in their own guest quarters, forcing them to flee after you destroyed the hallway, ruined their carriage, murdered 2 of their guards, 2 more outside, and leaving Seeker Asum to witness this entire process. Asum kind of gives a nod. You then tortured the carriage driver, requested he be sent to the dungeon beneath your keep, and upon my sentries returning from Greyskull to deliver him, they find a freshly murdered old woman not far behind the path you took. Not long after, Seeker Asum found me and corroborated most of this unexpected violent behavior. I then asked Arbiter Brahm here to divine the nature of this murder, and through his divine sight through the goddess Ayun, comes to tell me it was none other than you, Tiberius. I slaughtered this elderly woman while she slept. Yes.
Now I'm quite disturbed by the events of these past 14 hours, and I would like to hear an explanation. Arbiter, if you could please prepare the space.
Wait, who ratted on them about the old woman? Brahm here, and through his divine sight. I see.
And through his divine sight through the goddess Ayun.
Ayun. Is Ayun not the one that the Sphinx is related to in back in Vasselheim? Maybe there's something that they can use there to get out of them. Okay, this goes to something you were talking about with the Briarwood fight. I mean, it is I've thought a lot more about the Briarwood fight. My main issue with the Briarwood fight is why they did not immediately retreat. And the best explanation that I got in the chat, I don't remember who said it, but just the general idea that they were playing with their food. And that they were, despite their overarching kind of goal, basically being to frame Vox Machina at this point, that they were just playing with them, and then eventually their kind of goals changed. I still think that the kind of transition point was still weird. I can't really make that mesh in my head. But at some point it went to, okay, we're just going to kill and eat everyone. Eventually to, ooh, actually we can't kill and eat all of them. We're going to frame them instead. Which I get. I still will stand that I think that the transition point was handled very clumsily, and it didn't feel like that's what was happening. It felt much more confusing than that. But I think that is the overall nature of the Briarwood fight, was that, okay, they were going to just kill and eat all of Vox Machina, or kill and enthrall, or kill/enthrall all of them. And then at some point they realized, oh wait, we can't kill and enthrall all of them. We now need to leave and frame them. So yeah, it definitely... I'm curious as to what Assume says, because I don't know if we ever clarified if Assume got unenthralled at any point. I think he might still be charmed, so he might be witnessing against Vox Machina here. But we'll see. Goddess of Knowledge, the Sphinx is the devotee. So, I mean, there's a possibility that they might be able to contact the Slayer's Take and get, the full picture of like, okay, we didn't just chainsaw a helpless old woman. She was pretty fucking close to helpless. She was helpless in the moment, but, overall, she was there to attack. I don't think they had any way to kill more than Vax. They might have had the power, but the politics wouldn't work. Well, okay. I agree, Rebecca, but I'm trying to put it in a way that makes sense, because if that was the case, they should have bounced the moment that everyone showed up, but they didn't. And even once everyone showed up, they started attacking other people, not confirming the kill on Vax. So I have to then just think that they were playing with their food and that they thought they were powerful enough to kill everyone and that they didn't need to confirm the kill on Vax. And then they realized that that was not the case and they fled. Otherwise, the fight doesn't really make sense to me. But yeah, so this is interesting. I don't know how this is gonna shake out. There's gonna be some persuasion rolls here, but I don't even know like what Dad's even gonna say. Like he's gonna have them plead their case, but I don't know.
Comes to tell me it was none other than you, Tiberius. I slaughtered this elderly woman while she slept.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I'm quite disturbed by the events of these past 14 hours.
Also, I love Keyleth really trying not to say anything about about how they should have talked about it more seriously beforehand.
I'd like to hear an explanation. Arbiter, if you could please prepare the space. The Arbiter Brahmin steps forward and pulls forth from underneath his robes a necklace that contains a holy symbol, the same symbol you saw across the temple beneath the Slayer's Take, an eye-like inscription of the god Ayun. Brahm grasps it and kind of looks about you all and prepares this slight hand gesture, and you feel a slight tingle across the skin that just lasts a few seconds.
Can I recognize the spell he's casting?
I would say go ahead and make this be a religion check.
He's doing a cleric thing, yeah?
Yep.
7.
All right. Unable to ascertain the nature. However, the incantation completes. No seeming noticeable effect. Brahm nods and steps back in the line of the thrones. I want all of you guys to roll charisma saving throws.
Son of a bitch. Always a problem.
Wow.
Thanks.
19.
11.
I get advantage, and I rolled a 27. Nice.
Okay. Bards.
19.
18.
All right. Good to know.
Go.
Uriel then looks to the rest of you. So, I've said my piece for the moment. Explain.
I step forward.
Can I do a quick insight check on Hasoon to see if I can still recognize if he's still affected by the mind control thing?
Go ahead and make an insight check, sure.
Oh, yeah.
How would you ever...
28.
I would... Straight up, I would say no. He hasn't talked at all. Like, I would literally say no. There's no visible sign of the enthrallment. It's a mind control magic that leaves them fully sentient. There's no external sign that you can just look at and see. I'm curious to see what Matt says.
Glancing at Assume, the way he's looking at you.
Also, bingo? Bingo.
And the general tension and feeling of the room, you gather that Assume is not his normal self completely.
What?
You step forward.
Uriel, with all
The general tension in the room tells you that he is... Oh, insight check. Insight check. Thank you very much. The tension in the room tells you that he is not his normal self. Y'all have interacted with him twice. You cannot tell shit from shat as far as if he's his normal self or not, all right? That's it's Matt's a little too permissive sometimes. I'll say that.
Respect. I needn't remind you what the group of people before you put themselves through on your behalf and your family's behalf. We almost lost one of our own. And if that counts for nothing here, then nothing makes sense. But if that is not enough, let us start here.
Brywoods are vampires. And that old lady, who was a butler, by the way, was with this demonoid person who we had to fight as well, and deal with him.
One thing at a time.
One thing at a time. But that's true. But one thing at a time. We had prior knowledge of the Briarwood's intentions before this evening. And I myself went to spy on them.
Here's the thing. Percy doesn't like them because they killed his family.
All of them.
They took over his home after
All of
killing
them.
his family. He got away. He knows they're scary. We're trying to protect you.
So the point is, we all know how dangerous it is that the knowledge of vampire existence and the spreading of those vile creatures. And now we know they do exist. So however the means that came about is neither here nor there. We know where they are.
And if you're wondering how we know they're vampires, Max, this is your cue.
Oh yeah,
Show
number
him
one.
the
Let's
Bible
do
reading.
it.
I will subject myself to any test, to any wizard or mage in this city who you know can ascertain the truth, to look through my eyes, to see my memories. I don't know shit about magic, but there are people who do.
Cleric Tristan also treated him
the Temple of
last
Ceremony.
night for his vampire inflicted wound. I know this all looks really
Yes.
bad on the surface, and we did not want to cause any disturbance within these hallowed walls. Of course not. But there was a danger. We acted perhaps too abruptly and without telling you. And
But we tried to get your attention. I called for you immediately as soon as we knew there was danger.
And don't take our word for it. Anyone, have them look in here.
There. Yeah, I mean, I won't give him too much flack beyond what I just did, but I think that insight is not meta knowledge detector. Like, and I would even say, I would go so far as to say, the moment he talks, like the second he speaks words, you can figure it out. But like, I don't think that they know enough about what enthrallment looks like. I mean, yeah, maybe they interacted with them a bit, but that's like me, like, that would kind of be like me going in to my boss's boss at work. I've interacted with him maybe once a month since I started, and he's in the room and he's standing weird. And I know that he's been mind controlled, to be fair. I know that potentially he's been mind controlled. I think that body language can communicate more about someone's demeanor than talking. Yeah, it can. But like, and I would give it to them if it was someone like in their party. I would give that to them. Maybe someone on their staff. But like, even if they interacted with these people as frequently as once a month, I still don't know that you know their body language well enough to be like they're still mind controlled, or maybe they have indigestion. Like, yeah, maybe you can I don't know. I find it hard to get there. I agree with your point. I was just mentioning they probably know the rest of the council semi well, and that's fair enough. And that's totally. I was maybe being a little harsh on how little they've interacted with Assume. If it was more obvious to Vox Machina, it should be more obvious to the council. That's a great point of that, like. And maybe that'll come out. Maybe that'll come out in a few seconds that they're like, yeah, Assume has been acting kind of fucking weird, right? Because they should interact with each other constantly. So, you know, if Keyleth is just rolling out some insight on it, and maybe that's later in the scene. Maybe we'll get that. But that is... And maybe that's a good point to establish. Maybe this is incredibly fucking obvious. And maybe that is actually the point of the result of this insight check. Like, that is a fair enough interpretation of this, is if Matt wants to say that, like, this is a relatively obvious affliction, you know, not something that a stranger would be able to pick up on, not maybe even something that, like, like the second time you meet them, maybe not something that they could pick up on, but a casual acquaintance might be able to pick up on it. Maybe that is what Matt is going to establish, and maybe I'm the fucking asshole here. It's very possible. I am making some assumptions about the nature of this enthrallment. It might be more clear and obvious than I'm thinking. We will certainly have to see, but I will generally agree with Rebecca's take of like, if Keyleth can notice it, this cleric boy, Uriel, like all of these folks should also notice it. And if that is the case, then that's an interesting plot point to set up for later in the quest line of like, hey, the enthrallment isn't that easy to spot, but it's not that hard either. We'll see.
Actually, you take a Stormwind.
Silence!
Okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Silence. You're in my court now, Stormwind.
Uriel isn't very bright. Yeah, that's fair.
You put so much weight upon this trust, and you have done a good service. But also I've heard whispers that you've thrown this trust around in many circles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't remember what she rolled. Oh, fuck. Oh, I was gonna unpause and then repause the timer. I'll just... 30 is near impossible things, and it depends on how you are interpreting DCs. From what I can tell, Matt is doing like binary DC, like you succeed or you fail. There's not a lot of shades of gray, it appears, or like a gradient DC. So, that is also possible that maybe the insight was a crazy high DC. Maybe it was a 25 or a 20. So I don't remember if she rolled a 28 or not, but I mean, that's also possible. With how I was imagining the enthralling, it wasn't even like a 30. It was just like, oh, that is literally just not something that the skill is even capable of. Take a Stormwind's word sounds like a noble perk. Yeah.
Remember, we held a parade in your honor. We spread the word of the good deeds you've done. We, at our own cost, Solomon, built you a keep, a home, at great expense, to show thanks. And also, I believed, upon allowing you to join this council, put us square. I owe you nothing. Just as you owe me nothing.
Do you not want the truth?
I want the truth, but I also want you to understand the stakes that are here, in why there is this question. As the leader of this, not this city, but this entire countryside, I have to be sure. And this is not the first time I've been lied to by very close, trusted people, so I have to be thorough.
This is why I offer myself completely into your control and put myself under your supervision, and any user of the arcane arts you want to peer inside my mind, let them step up to the plate, because I have nothing to hide.
Also, while you are inquiring about him, you might inquire about Sigurd soon.
If you're worried about lies within your own ranks, I think you should start with him.
In fact, I actually might be able to help Sigurd soon, if you will allow me to.
Help him?
He glanced over at Asum, and Asum gives a look to Uriel, and Uriel kind of...
He was mind-controlled last night.
I have had Asum at my side for the better part of 15 years. He is responsible far more than your merry band has ever attempted for keeping and maintaining the good and lawful state of this
Uriel,
country.
your own family will call themselves! And you know that! Look into my mind! Now, today.
I fear...
You don't need to guess anything.
It would also do you well to show respect where you are speaking, half of. Now, I would sign Allura to such an endeavor. However, it has also been noticed that she is grown quite friendly and attached with your group, and in this circumstance, there is question. So, you will be, in a few days, assigned an individual to this ritual of which you are presenting yourself.
Uriel, please.
Shh. The Briarwoods, regardless of what you may think they may be, or we do, that will show in time, have shown nothing over the past 5 years but graciousness, and gone through all proper channels to establish this relationship between our city and theirs. Far more than the previous family ever attempted.
Well, one may smile and still be a villain.
That goes both ways. Now please.
Look. Just let me do a quick restoration spell on Hasum. If nothing is wrong with him, nothing will happen. It's harmless. It's like taking medicine when you're not sick. It can't hurt. And if I am wrong,
that's not how medicine works.
Then we can continue on. We can please consider Vax tested. Please, it'll take 10 minutes. What can hurt?
Up until last night, he was himself. Trust us that now he is not.
He came to us.
There has been nothing about his behavior at all to insinuate any change of anything of the sort. I've known the man for quite some time before I even took this throne.
And that can be the power of a very high
I will.
Powered mind control spell.
I will, in the good graces and the relationship we forged, allow this. Assume, are you all right? Assume kind of gives a nod. Well, if this is to be how it is, certainly. And he steps forward. The halfling approaches you, looking you in the face. All right, you would like to attempt your greater restoration spell?
Can I cast first? I meditate for a second and I cast enhance ability on myself.
As a note, as you begin casting, you notice the guards all go for their weapons and just ready themselves, uncertain of what's about to transpire. There's a tension, tension in the room based on what this is going to be. So you first cast.
Om mane padme hum, om mane padme hum, om mane padme hum.
All right, so
I will also definitely agree with that, Rebecca. I do like this beat of them getting a bit of comeuppance. They potentially, like, everything that they say about, like, trust us, don't trust them, can be turned back around of, like, I trust them, like, these are two very trusted people to Uriel. Cast Blight, Kiki. Just throw a quick Blight on him, just see what happens. This is... I'm surprised, given everything else, that Assume is letting them cast a spell on him. Because, like, I mean, not to be too paranoid, but, like, they could be casting a mind control. They could be casting enthrall. Like, if I was Uriel, I would not be letting them cast right now. I would say flat no. I am interested as to where this goes, though. Feels like trying to stop the murder hobo behavior with the old lady as well. It's certainly, I mean, I think it's good. I think I think it is a total contextualization of their status and their place in this city. They have this keep. They have, people showing up to the door. They have, they have, like, random people that will seek asylum because they are powerful and because they are notable and because they have these other connections. They don't really know fuck all about Lyra other than that she was a PC. Not Lyra. I forget her name. But even during the Briarwood fight, I pointed out that I really liked that the guards just let them through. But that goes both ways. Like, you can't just disappear into the night. Uriel knows where to find you. And any of your actions have big consequences with the big boys at this level. The Emperor inviting them to a party as a favor, and they attacked the guests of honor. They did indeed. And there is, I think Uriel's being relatively reasonable about all this, given everything that's happened. I like the scene. I like the arc. Well, let's see where it goes.
So first you cast enhance ability on yourself.
Am I maybe inspired by that?
Sure. Sure. In the tension of the room, the slow droning hum of the gnome, which you can notice some of the guards kind of look at each other confused, and Assume puts his hand up like, hold on.
Tube and throat
All right, so you cast, first you cast enhance ability on your...
Self.
What ability? All right.
To enhance, wisdom.
Would that have any effect on...
Wisdom.
Okay. So,
on Greater Restoration?
With Greater Restoration, you complete the ritual. You touch onto the arms of Assume. It fades and you see it in his eyes. There's like a moment of clarity and an inhale. Like a slight gasp. Like some realization hits him. And his expression changes and looks towards you and just goes. Puts his hands out like this for a moment, just trying to almost trigger something. Go ahead and make a wisdom check. So D20.
Okay.
Or no, make an insight. Make a straight insight. This is more of an insight roll.
See, this is a great area for insight.
29.
You get the sense through the subtlety of physical motion and expression. Assume is telling you, just go with me on this.
Okay. I'm rolling it in this sort of interaction. I think that's a great opportunity for insight. I don't want to be like super critical. It's just like where I really don't see it working, but that's a fantastic opportunity for a check that I feel is wildly overused at all tables, but especially at Matt's table. It might also be a sort of meta commentary. We're not playing at home anymore. We have an audience with expectations. Could be. That'd be wild. I mean, that's not so wild as for me to like put it out of possibility, but that would be a very cool commentary if that is what Matt's doing.
He steps back into the place next to the throne. There's a brief moment of pause. Uriel says, "And Asum?" Asum goes, "My stance has not changed. I know not what she is attempting or thought the situation was, but it appears to me that this was either misinformation or, at least at the time being, hopefully not a lie. But I believe Bron has taken care of that, yes?" And Bron gives a nod. "I certainly have hoped to." Uriel goes, "All right. Here's the circumstance. As it stands, I fear I must revoke Vox Machina's membership in the Council of Taldore until further notice. For the safety of our countryside and the current tension in our relationship."
Objection. That's it. I just wanted to say that. Please continue. I just want it noted that we object strongly to this.
I understand. And this will only continue until all of our investigations are complete.
Are we still allowed free reign to roam about as we please? Are we under arrest for anything?
You are not under arrest. You are revoked from the council, and you will be closely watched until our investigations are complete.
How long will your investigations take?
Looks back to Asum. Asum says, "Well, depends on how quickly we can acquire the information. Could be weeks. I'll do my best to make it thorough and quick."
Are we allowed to leave the city in that time?
Uriel looks back and says, "You may leave if you wish. Know that there have been precautions taken. Should you attempt to flee, we will find you."
And when are you to look into my mind?
Weirdo.
Seriously.
Friggin' ends it right away.
It's a super fair question. Also, something I do want to bring up. Is there a cleric spell that can see past events based on a body? Or did Assume cast like Speak with Dead and the dead lady just told them? Wait, what did Vax what's the bingo? Try to tell me the bingo, otherwise I'm probably not gonna know it. Bingo. Oh, objection? Is there Where's Wait, what? Speak with Bingo Phoenix Wright. What? I'm so confused. Reference to a non-CR thing. Are they in Phoenix Wright? Is one of them Phoenix Wright? Or in that, I guess? That's crazy. Yeah, and that's it must be Speak with Dead. I was about to try and like look it up to see if there's something they could like see into the past, but I would assume it's probably Phoenix Wright. Sam is the voice of Phoenix Wright? That's crazy. Okay, yeah, you are when it comes to that one especially, we are definitely going to have to be specific because I am not going to know that. But that's dope. That is dope.
There is no spoon.
We are to speak to the Lyceum to find a proper individual of sufficient power and trust to do this, as Allura right now is being kept out of the scenario.
Are we allowed to speak with
accused herself?
If you wish, outside of these chambers. Do what you must to clear your name.
People are
I would
fast.
like very much for this all to be true what you're saying. But do not flee. Do not give an inclination that you attempt.
Oh, I didn't even see Robbins. In Harry Potter, mind reading and truth potions is not legal in court because memories can be erased or false memories implanted. I mean, yeah. That's okay. That is a whole other thing. Yeah, there are literally spells called modify memory in D&D. And this is a legitimate conundrum that you definitely need to think through as a DM of how your courts factor in magic. Depending on how high magic your setting is. Clearly, this setting has a town the size of Iman that not only has several, high-level magic users on its council, but it also has an academy. It's got a whole magic item shop. I mean, magic is very, very, very prevalent here. So that has to be taken into account when you are considering these sorts of court cases and filings. And it is why I do generally opt for lower magic settings. Not necessarily because I don't like high magic settings, but I find that you almost always need, and this is the way that I have gone about it, is I have homebrewed a ritual that can basically negate any enchantment magic that has been cast on an individual. It is incredibly difficult to perform, so it is only performed in cases where, the stakes are very, very high. Like, I think I homebrewed it to take like 500 gold or 1,000 gold or something ludicrous. And the preparation needed in order to cast it is also very extensive. So I have that as part of my legal system in like a higher magic setting, but yeah, it's not like an easy workaround if you just have a lot of high magic people running around, and if you don't have if you don't homebrew that, or you don't, have some sort of workaround. So you do need help with references, so I'll continue my info. SSH. Stop it. I need help for references that the characters are in. Doesn't restoration fix modify memory? Potentially? Modify memory 5e? I honestly don't know. Pretty much any evidence could be falsified, though. Yeah. Yup, we're correct. It is really, really tough to basically fight this. A greater restoration spell does restore the target's true memory. So yeah, but there are so many ways that you can fuck with people. That's a single hero's feast breed sheet for Vox Machina. D&D economies are fucked. Justice and the court system wasn't that developed in medieval times as well. Yeah. Yeah, the court system wasn't. It was much more like the King Solomon fucking chop the baby in half, give one half to each woman style of justice than what we would think of in the modern court context. You can undo a memory charm, but you might also leave their brain dead. So trial by combat, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean. So that's all of this just needs to be thought through depending on your context, depending on how available magic is on both sides of things. You need to think through what happens if someone does get enthralled. Like, what happens if their memory does get modified? Do we have someone with greater restoration? Do we have someone that can get around this? Like, that is part of world building, especially somewhere that they're going to be for a long time, like Amon.
Escape this judgment, for we will take it as a sign of guilt.
We have no intention of going anywhere.
Should we conclude that your actions were beyond reason, and the moral fiber of this council, before you return, we will have no choice to put a bounty on your heads, should you not return. I really, really do not wish to do this.
And when we prove that we are
do
indeed...
not make me do this.
I stand up. No need for threats, friend. Are we done here?
I want to believe you all. I ask you, show my trust has not been misplaced all this time. Now you may leave.
I look forward to the second parade you'll throw for us after our names are cleared.
Very well.
I'm out.
I turned to the guards that were grabbing at their weapons and I flinched real fast at them, and then I
Four.
bitch.
As you guys go back out the doors that you entered, the guards now a little closely following as you exit, leading you out of the palace, down the front steps, and essentially stand at the front of the palace gates.
I'm sorry, I was just talking to one of your friends. Have you seen a belt that is shaped like this? Sometimes it moves around on its own and it answers to the name Simon, but usually it's just a belt and looks really cool. Have you seen it? Is there a lost and found I can check out?
I do think I should change it from Percy drops a cold one-liner to just someone drops a cold one-liner, because that was cold, but it's not on the sheet.
It's very dear.
What up, this dude?
The guard just comes to him a second and goes, I think you've got more important matters to deal with before you go looking for a boat, sir.
It's actually really.
Where's that other guy? He was more receptive to this. Do I see that other guy?
Darling, seriously.
The guards all turn around and start ascending the stairs.
He's on all the fan art. It really makes sense to have him. No?
They don't appear to be listening.
Keep an eye out for it. 100 gold to any chap who finds it and holds onto it for
Two
good,
of them stop in their step for a second, and then keep walking.
I'm a nice guy.
Go make a persuasion roll.
You're gonna get like 6 belts thrown at you.
No, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Really nice.
6.
It was a brief pause.
Really nice.
But also a brief pause.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right.
I'm athletic.
Do we wait out-
We'll break in tonight and find
Can we
him.
wait outside for
Yeah.
a little?
I'll just risk it all.
All right. So you're now currently there in the cobblestone street of the Cloud Top District.
Get up to the cloud.
Removed from the Council of Taldore
District
and left in this
What am I saying?
interesting
Of course.
circumstance.
Keyleth, what happened? Your magic didn't work.
No, it worked.
What happened?
It worked. It worked. He
But Assume lied.
He gave her a magic winky face.
yeah, essentially, yeah. He gave me like a
What do you think
What
it
does that
means?
mean? Does that mean
How do you know that, Tiberius?
Uriel's under the control? I don't understand.
Is he playing some sort of long game here?
It must mean that we have something to fear from Uriel. Or someone else
It has
close.
been hard times.
I don't know who to trust anymore, to be totally honest.
Really?
All right.
I mean, he came. It worked. I could feel it break. It worked, and he's got some sort of long game. I don't know if it's because he doesn't want Uriel to know for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because he has some deeper ulterior motive. I
Do you
don't
think
know.
he was faking that he was healed and maybe he wasn't?
Maybe we have to bring proof of their vampirism back?
No.
Oh.
Wait.
That's a different
No to
subject.
Laura. To Vex.
And I'm back.
What was your question?
To bring back proof of them being vampires.
Proof would help. Hey, don't we have a prisoner?
Oh shit.
Can't we
Oh
question the
no, is he
prisoner?
like bleeding out? What if
No,
he's dead?
I-
We're so screwed.
No, I made sure. I made sure.
Yeah, the
Rosalie?
kid, the guy that Percy shot the hand off of.
I cauterized his wounds. Remember?
We could question him. He could have proof.
Let's go back and question.
Oh shit, I hope everything's okay.
Hold on.
I go.
Oh, Tiberius.
Wait a minute.
Has the chair.
I've got the conch. I just really need to go to Laura. She was our best interest.
We
right
get
now.
it. You want her body.
Yeah, he
Now's not the
does.
time.
Brown
Tiberius.
chicken,
We need to
brown
get on-
cow.
There are several reasons to go. We need to get her the earring of telescription. We need. I need her to enchant something for me too, as well as the fact of we need. I feel that our keep may be in danger. I would like to ask her if she may be able to set up a warding spell for warp. Or
Yeah, that's something I forgot about, and I feel like Matt must have forgotten. Otherwise, their prisoner definitely would have come up during that. Totally alive still, yeah, for sure.
Can you go get her and bring her to the keep? I need to find out if this boy is all right.
Yes, once in, we can split up.
As
I
you
can
guys
go
having this
with you.
discussion, the palace doors open, and
Celestia.
you hear the quick footsteps
That was
of Aurora
reminded.
rushing from the palace, now kind of running towards you guys.
Saving the day. Again.
She rushes up.
Wait, she's
and
coming out of the
she's coming
palace?
out of the house behind you guys. Like after the council had just closed, the meeting had finished. She basically gave chase to you guys and is now catching up to you on the street.
Okay.
What the shit happened in there?
We were just talking about you.
Everyone, I don't fully know what happened last night, and she looks to you, Tiberius, and says, "You didn't, did you? Please tell me you did not kill that woman."
Oh, I absolutely did.
She was attacking us.
It looks bad, but she was a threat.
Her and another one with this what was he, a tiefling? His name the broker? Who attacked us and
Brom's
I killed her.
divination is very clear, and he divined that the woman was currently filled with fear, attempting to flee, and unconscious when she was murdered.
How did she flee when she was unconscious?
Shut the fuck up, Vax! Oh my god, you're making it so much worse. Okay, so how did his divination do that again? Is that like, are we homebrewing that? How did Brom's divination discover that when she says it that way? Bro, that's what I was saying yesterday. I honestly wasn't even as harsh as they're being. But yeah, man, I mean, it wasn't great. Wasn't great. Right outside your keep with the giant "We are funded by the government of Amon" sticker on it. Not a great look. And they explicitly did not do anything with the body other than loot it. So yeah, I can see how Matt is punishing them a little bit. I would do the same thing. You fuck around and you find out. If you get a little too comfortable, the people need to slap you down a little. Oh, man. Maybe Speak with Dead and the woman gave the info herself? Maybe. That would have needed to be a specific Speak with Dead, like very specific questions of, I was trying to, were you, like, maybe he could have phrased it in a way. Speak with Dead is possible. It's the only, like, you know, raw way I can see this having gone. Speak with Dead. Could I ask what happened? Don't know. I was asleep. What were you doing? I was running. Yeah. No, that's true. That's true. And if he's a high-level cleric, maybe he's done this before, you know, he's kind of, it seems like he's involved in the judicial system. He probably has, like, a standard set of questions. Yeah. Members of the council murdering sleeping elderly women? Yeah. I feel like asking the dead woman would be biased. Were you about to say sleep with dead? Gross. That's all that's on my mind. No, yeah, this is definitely not a good look for them, and I'm definitely, I am glad that Mercer is pushing this. I'm really, the party is, besides Keyleth, is continuing to be really standoffish about it. Like Orion's kind of fit when he left. And sorry, I shouldn't even say Orion, because I actually do believe that was Tiberius for one of the first times. Tiberius's little, like, are we done here? Made perfect sense. Very in character, I thought. Grog, like, flexing at the guards, like, Vax getting like very put out at the end and like yelling at Uriel. Like, Vox Machina has gotten very big for their britches, and I do think that it is time that they are held to account. The thing that I'm curious about how this goes is, how are they going to interact with Keyleth? Because Keyleth tried to head this off at the pass. She tried to have a conversation about it with them, and they all basically said, meh. They were like, we'll talk about that later. We'll do better. Like, maybe we'll kill them softer next time. And now everyone else is coming up to them, and they're still being fucking kind of sassy about it. How did she flee when she was unconscious? It's like, dude, maybe you need to get slapped around a little bit. Am I becoming on the Briarwood side? Like, you know, you're level 10s. You're continental heroes, but you're not world heroes yet, buddy boy. There's still people out there that can slap you around a little bit. Silas is technically dead, though. I don't even know who Silas is. I don't know what we're talking about. Oh my god.
That's true. She
fled.
fled.
She fled, then we butchered her. Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
He divined that the woman was currently filled with fear, attempting to flee, and unconscious when she was murdered.
How did she flee when she was unconscious?
That's
She
true.
fled.
She
When
fled.
unconscious.
We knocked her out.
We butchered her. We
Killed her.
Just accept it for what it is, guys.
I just worry. I know not what happened here, and I heard what you said, and I honestly do not trust the Briarwoods myself either. There was something about that meal and the conversation and the presence that just put me off entirely. It was strange. And what you say makes a lot of sense. Vampirism is a bit beyond what I was expecting, and I did sense some powerful, masqueraded arcane essence from Lady Briarwood. Look, I would recommend for this to do your best to be thorough in this. Bring back any and all information you can. From the words I hear, you probably have at best a few weeks before this comes to a close. And if you don't have enough evidence to support your argument, I don't know.
Shit.
Allura, all I know how to do is break locks, but I've seen these people do things with magic that have defied expectations. Why can no one look into my memory? You have looked across miles. Can not anyone look into my mind?
And the fucking cleric had no problem dividing the lady's memories. Right? Okay, that is something. It would make sense if it's Speak with Dead. It would all make sense if it's Speak with Dead. They're not phrasing it as Speak with Dead. They're phrasing it as his divination. Is Speak with Dead even a divination spell? I might need to look that up. But this powerful cleric that can get the exact read on what happened with that can't look into my memories. Like, I do agree. That's a good rebuttal from Vax, rather than like keep harping on this, keep on this point. Because if we're in such a high enough magic setting that we can have truth rays and and we have greater restoration, why can't anyone look into his mind and see? It's a good question to keep asking, and like the DM needs to answer it convincingly. Because Vax, that's a huge fucking plot hole. Give me the lie detector test. Yeah. Well, and Matt didn't say it, but I think they were already saying those things in a truth spell. Yeah. They definitely were. 1,000%. So that's what I'm saying is like, yeah, I need to just stop pausing because a lot of this is like, I just have to see how this quest line plays out. But this is it's a good basis. It's a good foundation for what we're doing here. Like, I like the generalities of it, but a lot of the specifics are iffy. They're a little shaky. Like the enthrallment with assume, the lie detector test, the truth zone, but now they have to go out and get evidence. And like Grog said that, but now Allura's saying that. And like Allura believes them a lot, but also isn't sure. I have to shut the fuck up, Terrace. Speak with dead as a necromancy. So that's what I'm saying. So it's like if Cleric Man has that level of divination, he can't just look at Vax. I mean, so all I'm saying is I think the foundation for this, like the core idea of what's going on here is good, but there's a lot of shaky stuff. There's a lot of balls in the air, and I'm not certain if Matt is going to be able to keep them juggled convincingly. I'm a little worried, but we're going to have to see.
And see.
They're going to do it.
Yes, but that might not be proof enough for them. Someone could have corrupted your mind.
You have to understand, not all arcane works that way. There are magics that can dabble in that realm, but none that specialize that in here and on. Divination, yes, there are elements of that. We can see the physical, we can see certain events, but to look into one's mind is...
Well, then see the events from where I got bit, dude. What?
True, there are no spells that can divine someone speaking true.
That was attempted during that council, but after you left, Brom notified Uriel and the council that many of you were resistant to the spell, and as such, it cannot be verified.
So Brom knows that they resisted? Like, Brom seems to know a fuckload for not being able to verify shit. He seems to be very aware of a lot of things. Like, this is... Ugh, it's so tough. It's so tough. Because I like No Mercy Percy. I like the Briarwoods. That's part of Zone of Truth. Is it? Is that part of Zone of Truth? Maybe, I don't know, maybe. But even from a narrative point of view, I still think it doesn't feel good, but on a failed save, you know whether each creature succeeds or fails. Okay, you know what? Fuck that. Yeah, fair enough. But isn't it raw? Even if it's raw, right? Which is totally fair. Keep me honest on that. But from the narrative perspective, this guy knows the details around how this woman was murdered outside their house. He also has Zone of Truth, which he knows so much, but he can't look inside Vax's head. Fair enough. But he can figure out the events of how that woman was murdered, but can't figure out the other stuff. Like, again, raw, we can piece it together. It's Speak with Dead. It's Zone of Truth. Like, we can piece these together raw, but it feels really bad narratively. Of you have this guy that can figure out everything damning about Vox Machina, but can't figure out anything that would reveal them. It is almost as if maybe the cleric is enthralled. if he's enthralled, maybe this starts to make a little bit more sense. Maybe that's why Assume can't say anything, is because he thinks that other members of the council are enthralled. Maybe that's a little bit of a brain blast. I don't know. Maybe divination means he asked his god. Well, his god seems mighty fucking biased against Vox Machina, don't it? So that's what I'm saying, is like, there's a lot of shaky stuff here. There's a lot of balls. Keep coming back to the balls. There's a lot of stuff here that could work. It could be Speak with Dead, could be Zone of Truth. Maybe the man's enthralled, maybe his god told him. Maybe it is all coincidence that the things that are coming out about Vox Machina are specifically damning, and none of the things that would help them are coming out, and the party needs to go on a quest to get all those things. Very fair. But it starts to feel very plot-y. It starts to feel very like forcing you down a path. It starts to feel like very purposeful. And there are kind of two options for that. You can either have it be purposeful, have it be in fiction personal, that like the broker was sent by the Briarwoods, that, you know, this guy is enthralled by the Briarwoods, that maybe Greater Restoration didn't work for some reason. Like, you can start revealing that, but you have to start revealing that. Like, otherwise, if this just so happened to all point towards Vox Machina and there was no one pulling the strings on it, it feels like the DM was pulling the strings. And like, maybe, I mean, that's a question to put to chat. Put it in the comments. Do you feel like someone is pulling the strings here, whether it's in fiction or whether it's Matt? Like, to me, this feels very much like someone is very purposely framing Vox Machina in pretty much every single way. And every way that they could clear their name is not being given the same abilities and resources to do so. And so either there is someone in fiction orchestrating that, or it is the DM Matt Mercer orchestrating that. That's what it feels like to me. So it could resolve very nicely. It could all be, you know, the Briarwoods are behind all of it. That'd be great. I would love that. But no, the ballots was rigged. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. And I know that a lot of you can't answer because you already know the quest line, right? You know if it was set up or not. Makes sense. But that is where I'm at watching this, of like, something feels contrived, but I can't tell if it's in fiction contrived or out of fiction contrived.
Rolled low.
Shit.
I give myself to this.
Our own power came
Just
by
tell
to
us you're
the
doing it. We won't resist it. What the shit? Doesn't even trust us.
If we came
sometimes.
back with proof.
What sort of proof do you think they would accept? The head of Lady Briarwood?
We don't disappear the minute we kill her or something. They're vampires. I don't know what they do.
She kind of gives a thought of that. She goes, interestingly enough, if an artifact or an item brought forth from them could be divined, that should tell all.
Is there still the remaining wreckage of their carriage? Is that still there?
The carriage has been disposed. It's been picked over, and there were remnants within the rubble of some sort of a sigil of teleportation, but that is no...
I'm a
sigil.
We got a sigil.
What sort of artifact? Like a brooch? Or hanging
Or are we
bag?
talking about that motherfucker's teeth?
Violet
Blood?
Sigil.
We're all learning together.
Damn it.
That I believe has all been investigated and kept under lock and key with Sum. We'd have to speak with him. I would like to help. I cannot come with you. I'm working on something else at the moment. And she reaches into her pocket and brings out your transcription.
Oh, thank you so much, Lady Laura.
As she hands it to you, she gives you a really, really concerned look, and she
Possible
says,
Mustang.
just gives it to you and kind of hands it back. And it's a look of and it hits you. It's a look of disappointment with a hint of heartbreak.
Oh, it's the worst. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Oh.
I feel like I failed you.
Yeah.
She looks back to you as you take notes. Do your best to clear your name.
I shall.
I know you come of noble blood, and many of you stand to inspire many others of noble blood. Celebrated heroes of the city, there's a lot more on the line here besides just your well-being. There's a lot of people in this town to look up to. Nevertheless, I've already said more than I should. Good luck.
Thank you, Lord.
She kind of looks behind you. You can see she takes this small hood of the same material of her robe that she's wearing and kind of puts it over her head and rushes off towards her white tower, towards the edge of the Cloud Top district.
Damn, fucking politics. No one insight checked her. She's telling me it's time to treat. Let's go make sure the prisoner is dead.
Yeah.
Right, so wait, what are our avenues? We're gonna have to Columbo this. What are our avenues of finding proof? We have
We
a
say as
prisoner.
we're walking back to the keep.
Yes.
We have a prisoner we can question. Who knows if that will
We'll start there.
yield anything, and then we might have to go gather evidence.
And we're
which means
defying
leaving town
Uriel's
against.
word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
against
Well, we're
his
allowed
will.
to leave town.
No.
Yeah, no. He said we're allowed to leave. We just can't look like we're
flee.
fleeing. So we tell them where we're going.
No, we won't.
They can even fucking follow us. I don't care.
So we tell them that we're going to the
Find evidence to
political-
clear our name.
the people that they're trying to create a political relationship with. We're just going off to invade, your political
Oh,
allies.
come on, you half-elves, I swear to God. I've
No,
never
I want
heard of lying
I want to
before.
go, but I just
Yeah,
don't think
we
it's
don't
smart to
tell them
them.
where we're going. We're going on a field trip. We're going to pick berries. Fuck all when we go there.
The only way we can go there is telling them.
What, then we're going there what for?
When I talk to Assume and get that sigil to that damn Briarwood keep, that's how we get there.
Why don't we say we're taking a picnic? Oh, we took a wrong turn. Hey, it's the
We don't have
Briarwoods.
to lie to them. We don't have to lie to them. We just tell them where we're going, and we can just go there.
Don't have to,
know,
we want to.
You're pretty.
You don't need to tell me that beardy side, Grog.
Don't turn.
It's a full beard by now. It's
Oh,
a
you're
new
right.
What you do know is the sigil that a teleportation circle is attached to is known when you cast or create the circle. The circle does not necessarily indicate or maintain the sigil it's attached to.
It's just like a piece of it.
Meaning there are two parts to it. There's the sigil that it sends to, and there is the actual the ritual circle that is created. The circle that attaches to it is not the same as the destination. There are elements of it that.
What? Wait, what? I'm so confused. I've absolutely I don't either. I need to go back to understand what he's trying to say. Tibbs going to TP directly to the
You don't need to tell me that beardy side, Grog.
Don't turn.
It's a full beard by now.
Oh,
It's a
you're
new
right.
What you do know is the
sigil?
sigil that a teleportation circle.
They're also, I mean, they're using definitely the wrong terminology. Like, teleportation circles have a sequence, a unique sequence, like a telephone number. So I'm already, but you could abstract that as a sigil that has like complicated lines. There's an input sigil and then output sigil, origin circle. Yeah, obviously it doesn't. That's what I'm confused as to what he's even trying to explain. I get the gist. You can't just look up the sigil to go everywhere. I mean, yeah, the verbiage is from the Pathfinder.
Is attached to is known when you cast.
Okay, the sigil that a teleportation circle is attached to is known when you cast or create the circle. So the circle that your input is attached to, that makes sense. Okay. The circle does not necessarily indicate or maintain the sigil.
Or create the circle. The circle does not necessarily indicate or maintain the sigil it's attached to.
It's just like a piece of
What? Yes, it does. Yeah, when you create a circle, it gets like a specific rune sequence. Like that's the whole deal.
Meaning there are two parts to it. There's the sigil that it sends to, and there is the actual the ritual circle that is created.
Right. So he's talking about if you're not going from permanent to permanent, right? So if you're going from temporary to permanent, there's the rituals that created, there's the circle that it's attached.
The circle that attaches to it is not the same as the destination.
Right. You have to know the destination sequence in order to get there. That's the whole dealio.
There are elements of it that connect it, but you would not be able to ascertain like a sigil 2 Whitestone immediately from looking at the initial circle.
From looking at the initial circle? What initial circle? What the fuck? Tibbs is thinking the rune left after the TP can be used there. What TP? Because they didn't use teleportation circle, they used teleport, which has no rune sequence or sigil or anything. And this is what I was talking about last time. I feel like they're even getting confused about which fucking spell the Briarwoods used. I'm going crazy. I'm going insane. I had a whole thing about how I was like, they only know what teleportation circles are like, and they're talking in terms of teleportation circles, but the Briarwoods used teleport, not teleportation circle. Like, definitely. What? There's a rune. Maybe teleport from Pathfinder leaves a rune and it's similar to teleportation circle. I don't even fucking know. Man. I believe Terrace's explanation. I've seen this episode at least 3 times. He can't make sense of his words. Yes, out of the carriage. I believe Matt treats them the same. He must be. Because that's the only way I can make this conversation make any sense. Well, and also when they've cast teleportation circle, it did seem like Tibbs cast it pretty instantly. I always thought that they were just sort of abstracting the time that it took. Like, I thought it was just like, like we're just not dealing with it, but maybe they think that teleportation circle is relatively instant. They did it differently in C2, probably, yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the cups, guys. I just noticed that. Well, let's go check on this pool. All right, we'll go check. We'll go, and then the next step will be to seek out Seeker Assume. Maybe.
Need circles until you are higher level. Interesting. Can't wait till they raise enough money to buy a PHP. Just take one off the wall, man. Oh wait, no, they're not behind him on the wall anymore. They used to be back there. Just take one off the wall. Just read it. Yeah. That's fair. C2 is 5e, yeah. I mean that's yeah. And this might just be Pathfinder shit once again. Pathfinder strikes again and confuses the shit out of me about what's happening.
Let's tell the truth.
Just stop by the temple real quick.
How many errands do you have?
I have a bunch, dude. I made a list.
Errands. That's smart.
All right, go run your errands.
We need to go look in
on the street solve.
Yeah, I want to be there when we talk to the prisoner.
Yeah, let's go talk to the prisoner.
Okay. You guys make your way back to Grayskull Keep. Are you going with them, or you're?
I'm doing all the shit. I'm gonna give you.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna.
He's got a list.
I'm gonna
stop.
I'm gonna stop it.
Got a list.
I'm gonna stop in an armory,
You don't.
because I want my crossbow reinforced. I don't know what that means. I'm gonna learn a different
Don't know
sigil.
what that means.
The one that I researched for the waste.
Brother, you're classic. This is that, especially the way that he phrased it is a classic annoyance, because it's like, I want to do this. I don't even know what it means. I just want to take up time with it. It's like, okay, well then fucking just ask Matt about it beforehand. Don't jump scare all of us on stream with it. Message deleted by Nightbot. I don't know what that means. Why did Nightbot delete? Okay, Nightbot is deleting a bunch of messages that are totally fine. I don't know why it's deleting them though. I'm gonna go check out Nightbot's moderation. Stop spamming caps? What? Who the heck are you, my evil twin? Dude, okay. I'm gonna turn off Nightbot moderation. You can totally spam caps. I don't fucking care. Where's the Quagmire theme song? Damn, Nightbot came into my room and broke my ankles. It really did. That's so funny.
Or the way. Oh, come on.
What are you?
The Feywild. There's this big city next to it that I researched that is near it, and in that city, what might be a sigil, so I'm gonna go see if I can learn it, and then start to come back and then start enchanting my blades.
Shouldn't you pick one of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can give it to you.
Oh, I see. Excess
Coming
caps.
soon on Friday nights, The Adventures of Tiberius is airing. 7 to 10 every Friday night on Twitch.
And then I have to go to the dry cleaners for my room. No.
All right. So as you begin that process, the rest of you continue back to the keep. As you approach Grayskull Keep, there are 2 individuals waiting for you at the gate.
You know what? I'm honestly fine with it because he fucking times you out. That's crazy. I'm honestly fine with that being a thing. I'm going to set the limit a little bit higher, and I'm going to set the timeout length to be much lower. I'm fine with it being like, I guess, a minute timeout if you're using like a crazy amount of caps. I'm going to set it to like fucking 20. Like, I just don't want like a whole giant message to be caps, but I'm fine with like a short little message like that being all caps. That's fine. That's crazy though. Gotta love Orion and his lists. I know. Scanlan with the shade. Did Scanlan do some shade? Fuck, I was too distracted with Nightbot.
Dry cleaners for my room. No.
All right. So as you begin that process, the rest of you continue back.
Start enchanting my blades. I see if I can learn it.
So I'm gonna go see if I can learn it, and then start to come back and then start enchanting my blades.
Shouldn't you pick one of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Busy day.
Coming soon.
If you can give it to him because you wrote it down, you should have given it to him beforehand. my head's going to explode. I already
Friday nights, The Adventures of Tiberius is airing. 7 to 10 every Friday night on Twitch.
And then I do the dry cleaners for my room.
All right, so as you begin that process, the rest of you continue back to the keep. As you approach Grey Skull Keep, there are 2 individuals waiting for you at the gate. You do not recognize from a distance.
Wait, what's this? Say that again?
There's dudes at the
Two
keep.
individuals waiting for you at the gate. You can see at a distance, but you don't recognize.
There are handlers.
Big brother.
Girl, come on, let's go have a talk.
Yeah, let's do that.
I walk with you.
I
but-
walk with
We'll all go.
I will say something that I do appreciate from Matt in the context of all of this is that I talked a lot about with Grayskull Keep and with keeps in general, things that the party owns, like big strongholds like this. It should give explicit benefits and it should give explicit detriments. It should have risk or upkeep or something. And I do like that. Like, it feels a little bit like random encountery. It feels a little bit too consistent that it's like every time they go back to Grayskull, it feels like someone's outside their door. But I don't hate it. I don't hate it as, like, you know, they've posted up a giant, you know, place where they can be found. They should now be able to be easily found. You know, if there's a kid outside wanting to join, if there are debt collectors, if there are, I don't know who these fucking dudes are, but I like that is kind of the detriment that Matt is imposing is it's like, hey, you guys don't get anonymity here. You are known. It is very known where to find you. I really like that. I wrote it down, but you didn't give it to the DM. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wrote it down. I had this whole plan. I just didn't give it to you. And it's the fact that it's a solo plan. Like, if he was planning out, like, steps for the entire party, that's something that, like, a leader does, or the brain does, or, like, the smart guy. Like, in terms of the 5-man band. Like, that is a thing that is a very functional part of the party, is, like, the planner. That's a great role to take on, but he's not doing that. He's doing his own shit. And even compared to Percy, who had these 3 plans, but Matt clearly knew about them. And I even gave him some shit for not handling it more off screen. I mean, yeah, it's crazy, man. I will never complain to my DM about the plot coming to me. Yeah, and I think that that's also something to keep in mind with this sort of detriment of being very well known, you know, it being very obvious where to find you, you essentially being de-anonymized, is that it's also an option for the DM to just charge the plot at you, sort of railroady, but it feels okay. It doesn't feel railroady because you are known. Grayskull is yours. Like, it makes sense that if people were looking for you, they would find you there. So it all feels really nice. So props to Matt on that. I feel like I've been being too negative. In my game, we have a 2-floor home. Our detriment is that bad guys can get in and leave notes or dead bodies, cons, no cost for sleeping and eating the city. Totally. Exactly. Like, those are the sorts of things, Mustang, that I really like to be not necessarily explicitly defined, but I like for players to have a really good handle on them. Like, what are the benefits to having this? What are the detriments? And there should be explicit and kind of, I would say, large detriments, but conversely, there should be really big benefits. Like, I like to give my players big benefits for having this place, this safe place. Wait 3 episodes from now when Vax bludgeons the D&D version of the Jehovah's Witnesses who show up outside the keep. Yeah. Pros, no cost to stay in town. Oops. Yeah, I gotcha. Vox Machina do have to pay the help a lot, but not too much other problems. I mean, they're kind of getting other problems, right? Like, the problems don't need to be explicitly terrible, but just like the fact that people can just show up and just ask for them and just be like, hey, you're them, right? That's a problem in and of itself for a party that is not always on the up and up. So I think that's enough of a detriment, just straight up.
Let's go arm in arm in one big line.
Well, they're right at our fucking keep. It's not like we're all headed the same
direction.
Just forcing the big
doesn't
guy
have a ring.
forward. A ring of what?
An earring.
I have one right now.
I think I do.
I have one.
I have one.
And then only 1, 2,
Charles doesn't
1, 2,
have
3, 5.
How far away from the keep are we?
You're probably a good 100.
Okay, I get to ground 50. So I think all this happens.
I whistle really loud and say, "Who are these fucks in front of the key?" to the guard that we have employed.
Such a mess.
Okay. So,
What up, John?
Jack's on duty right now.
That's what you get for being an adventurer.
Right now.
And that's what you get for buying a publicly a
No,
very.
this will be Shane and Cordell.
Would you care for an email reading this evening?
Cordell drops down from the top of the wall and says,
I don't think they're a threat.
Well, I will be the judge of that, as you were.
Rog, keep in mind, these are our allies.
Hello?
as you walk up and you get close, you get a better view. You're expecting ominous armored guards, somebody possibly assigned to escort you. Instead, you're greeted by what looks to be an older couple waiting at the gate. A man and a woman, dressed in simple clothes, weathered skin, and as you go after them, they both smile. You can see deep set smile lines
We
in their
hate old
faces.
people.
Who are you?
Favorite enemy.
They begin walking up, and the man steps forward, and you can see has these small, dirty glasses at the end of his nose. Says, "Hello, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry to be a bother, but unless my eyes and tails do deceive me, might you all be the heroes known as Vox Machina?"
Oh man, why do we always get fans on my
Can I
worst
insight
days?
check to see if these guys are legit?
Legit what? Old people?
Could be more Lady Briarwood, for all I
Oh, we
know.
know, me too.
Inside check.
I did well. I rolled an 18 on them.
Okay. From what you can tell, they're both happy, simple folk that are here with a tension of purpose, but nothing that seems to set off any alarms.
We are Vox Machina. I'm sure word of us has spread far and wide. We're a pretty big deal. Why have you made this journey to us?
The woman who's kind of holding aside kind of lets go of his arm and says, "We come to you humbly as representatives of the farming community just north of Iman's walls.
Oh, I love farmers.
I am Riley Klaus, and this is my husband, Ben. Pleasure to meet you.
Hi.
You see, many of us here, we make our living through livestock and small crops." Ben kind of takes over this point and says, "Word is that the Sovereign will be calling down troops from Fort Doxio for a while, so the need for meats and fresh produce has been elevated." The wife Riley then says, "Around this time, over the past 2 weeks, a number of our finest cows and sheep have gone missing. No struggle or mess or signs of dire wolves, nothing. We suspected thieves initially, but we set up our neighbor's boy Kyle to watch over them till sunrise, and he saw the culprit. From what he described, a giant bird, larger than anything he's ever seen or heard of. Ben then takes over the conversation. Wings at least 10 carts long, tip to tip. Just swooped down, he said, without sound, and in one motion snatched up one of our most virile bull. Mr. Sims, just gone like that."
Mr. Sims.
The bull.
Oh.
Riley says, Kyle said he saw it fly northwest.
Northwest? Can I do a nature check to see if I can recognize the creature he's describing?
Northwest. So that's a way. I mean, it's they're both north, but it's generally not in the direction of Whitestone. I'm just saying this is starting to fit with my prediction for the episodes that there would be some random side quest that has nothing to do with nothing until they dig into it a little bit deeper, and it has to do with the Briarwoods. That's still my call. Send Keenan to go with to go deal with it. It's probably a rock, dude. It's not. He's not gonna be able to deal with that shit. No way. How does he do it? We'll see. Keenan is for the birds. I am thinking though. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe there's something to discover there. These farmers are just lucky Percy is AFK because this just reeks of side quest. Yeah. No, it does. It does. Aga has no faith trusting Keenan. What? Yeah, I don't. You are mighty correct when it comes to a rock. But I do. I also think that like this is very thematic for the type of stronghold that they chose to have. Like, they could have had a fucking grotto. They could have had a wizard tower. They could have had an underground series of, like, bunkers and tunnels. Like, they could have had a lot of different types of stronghold. They chose a keep. A defensive structure for the land, for Iman. Which implies, just historically, that structure is meant to protect the surrounding landscape. It is not traditionally just to protect the people that, live there day in, day out. It is meant to take on residents during times of trouble and repel invaders. And so with all of that theming and symbology riding on their choice, having random farmers come to them with their problems is very thematic, very straightforward. I really like it. This is one of the detriments. One of the detriments of their choices of having this super public defensive thing is that now people are going to start coming to them with their problems, and their responses are going to affect their overall reputation in Amon. They can't just be the adventurers that come around during the cataclysms and, save the city from the demons and then fade into legend. No, like they live there. They have to go to the grocery store to get their fucking produce. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are not just local legends. They are continued defenders. They are the heroes of Amon presently. Responsibility grows. Yeah. The world is very big, a lot of stuff. Sure. Yeah. But I'm just no, they got a person for that. I'm just saying, like, I think I really like this from Matt of, like, they have notoriety and people are going to start coming to them. They're not going to go to the palace. They're going to go to their local heroes, Vox Machina. And how they respond, if they just tell the farmers to go and shove it, their reputation is going to start to diminish. Very Fable. Very like Fable 3. I didn't play the other two, so maybe also Fable 1 and 2. But I really like it. I really, really like it. Definitely fits in the world, but I think Matt is trying to give them something to do while Taliesin is away. Not a bad thing, just meta reasons. Yeah, even there, I'm glad that this is the way he's approaching it. Like, there's a lot of ways to give them shit to do. Because he can't advance Briarwood. Yeah. I totally agree with you guys. But I think that he could have advanced it in a lot of ways, and I'm glad he chose this one. I think it's very good. It's very clever. But yeah, they got staff to get the groceries. True, they got a person for that.
So he's not describing it correctly.
26.
You've seen some big birds in your time. This is what they're describing is a lot bigger than any birds you've encountered in your experience. You've heard whispers of larger birds in the wild, but you've never seen anything like that. Let's see. You haven't had any personal experience hearing or seeing anything this size.
But it is like a bird?
That's what they described it as.
When did these birds start showing up?
Just about 2 weeks ago, when the whole thing started to happen. And then Ben kicks in and says, should this keep up, most of us will lose everything before the year is out. Now, we've talked with the leaders of the farming community this side of Amon, and we've scrounged up what we could, and brings up a couple of verses, and she goes, 512 gold pieces, 37 silver, and 103 copper. That's all we can spare.
You know what?
Would you esteemed
keep
heroes...
your money.
Yes, keep your money.
We can't possibly...
What about this? What if you supplied us with a small stream of produce for our servants here at the keep? For cooking, for feeding them, for feeding us when we're here? It'll be a sight less than 500. It wouldn't be nothing. You could still give us something.
Yes, we could be more than happy to. Yes, we could definitely.
However, despite what my companion is saying, we're not agreeing to go after this winged beast quite yet. We hear your plight and we sympathize, and we will do what we can, but we have very pressing matters right now. Is there a deadline of some sort? Like, when is your next harvesting season? Or
ASAP, probably.
I mean, there's no deadline, but the longer that goes by, the more and more we lose by the night.
Don't
2 weeks
worry,
in,
not
we've lost
every
half of our
night,
livestock.
every night.
If a creature is this big, I imagine it needs quite a bit.
And how long of a ride is it? Is it like walking distance?
To... Where?
To your farm. To your farm.
North side of Amon. No more
Oh,
than...
so real close.
Yes.
We are friends of the elderly, obviously, and also of the farming community. So we are very interested in helping you. May we talk about it a bit before we decide how and when we would tackle this problem?
They look at each other and nod, and he taps their hands. Yes, I mean, by all means. Just, if you could, please help us stop this beast from ruining our livelihood.
And can you please tell us how to get to your place?
Oh, well,
So we can... Do you normally stay there? Are you normally home?
we wander about the community, but we do have a homestead. If you look, it's the large red wood and partially brick-based homestead closest to the city walls on the north farm, right outside of Amon. It's kind of hard to miss if you're heading that
We'll
direction.
find you, and we will.
Presently, we will find you. Guys, we were told to sit and spin, basically. I mean, what's wrong with earning some brownie points in the eyes of your enemy?
Mr. and Mrs. Crowd, as friends of the elderly.
First that.
Clouds.
Right, Crowd. Do they normally come at night, or have they ever abducted any of your sweet balls during the day?
We've not seen it during the day. It'd be easier for us to identify if we had. It seems to only hunt at night.
Have they ever messed with a
It's a
human?
vampire bird.
Not that we've heard of. Not yet. And he kind of gives you the sudden look of realization, fear, and like pats and comforts his wife, who suddenly realizes, like, oh my, are they going to take us now?
Don't. We'll
Expect
probably
us
be
tonight.
by like tonight or tomorrow morning.
Yes, tomorrow morning at the latest. We
I
have
think
a little
tonight
bit
would
of
probably be
business.
smart.
Yeah.
So we're in the middle of doing something. We'll get to it.
All right. Well, thank
We
you.
need to clear our conscience anyway.
I take him by the
Good for
hand
us.
and say, "We will see you presently. We will see you presently."
Here, my business card.
And you can take that to the bank.
You can't actually, it's worth nothing.
Well, thank you for listening to us, Emblon, and we look forward to hearing from you in the next day. So.
You will.
All right. He pats her on the arm.
Travel safe, Mr. Kraut.
Hide your ball, hide your wife.
Seriously,
They both kind of
We need to
wander
Safe
off.
journey, safe travels.
we are like in danger of like being
Dicks.
ostracized. We should really be nice to everybody right now.
we need to be
Like
nice.
everybody.
We were just having a conversation about how we should try to be nice
Yeah.
from now on. But
I
we
know.
do
I'm
have
gonna
very
do two
pressing
things.
matters. at
Yeah,
hand.
let's get in there and talk to
It'll be
them.
there a while if you do it all.
It's funny how that type of thing can come back to bite you in the ass.
I call up to Cordell. Oi, Cordell.
Yeah.
Remember when I told you not to let anyone linger outside the keep?
To be fair, the Clauses are well known in the community, and
The Krauts?
The Klauses.
if they came here for business, I figured it was probably something you'd want to hear. But
By
my
all
apologies.
means, by all means, use your judgment over the orders of your master. That's fine. That's fine.
Scanlan,
He bows his head sheepishly. I apologize.
ignore him. Ignore him.
We are here to help people. We're here to help.
And does his finger like this, and the gate open and towards the inside of the keep wall.
And what is wrong with you all today?
We had a really bad dinner last night. That's all.
I head straight to the jail.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I'm
got
coming.
it, too.
All right, as
I'll
you guys are doing
follow.
that, as you guys are doing that, Tiberius, what's the first thing you're trying to do?
Stop by and pick up the decanter from the temple.
Okay. He said it required 2 days. It's been less than a day since
Oh,
you dropped
then
it
I'll
off. Just so you're aware.
Then the only thing I do is visit the keep with the sigils library, whatever.
Oh, the Lyceum? Okay.
I'm not going. I'm just going to go hang out up on the wall.
Okay.
That's okay.
All right. As you head to Lyceum, the clerk lets you in. What are you specifically looking to find or research?
The sigil that's closest to the Feywild.
Okay.
There's-
In researching what they have at their disposal, you understand that the Feywild itself, because it is a separate plane, the magics in which traversing it are a little more difficult to do. If you notice, and I'll confirm here just to be sure that we're on the same page, before I go full on this here, pardon me just a moment. I scan through the book. The mighty book. The book of might. Yes. Sigils of teleportation require the same plane of existence, meaning you can teleport anywhere within the tri-material plane that you exist in. To traverse into the Feywild, you have to actually find a door into the Feywild, and then you'll be able to use a sigil from the Feywild,
Then I only pick up my decanter.
It's
which is not ready yet.
I don't do that. Damn. My short-term memory is just jacked.
Just
It's all
hang,
good.
man. Just hang.
It's all good.
Somebody's been to the Feywild.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Feywild, what you do find is that the Feywild, the boundaries between this realm and the Feywild tend to grow weaker at full moons. It's kind of tied to the moon cycle. And at certain places where kind of nature is set to run wild. A lot of Druidic tribes tend to mark these locations and, in some cases, actually guard them.
We know where a hole in one is.
You
Cloud
have
went through
like
it.
a member of your party.
And if you
This
recall,
much there.
remembering, in the Frostwell, the perpetually frozen forest where you had that conversation with the nymph.
Oh, Marisha is annoyed. Holy shit. Wait.
And if you
This
recall,
much there.
remembering, in the Frostwell, the perpetually frozen forest where you had that conversation with the nymph. That portal that she existed through was specifically a door into the Feywild, which you recognize.
What city was that near?
That was south of Westwood.
Then I'll go to the thing and I'll find the western sigil.
Okay. Through your research, you do find a sigil to Western. This is allowing you to go into this portion for the sigil, because you've already used the favor that you had to get the sigil of Craghammer.
No, I didn't. I used the amulet and got permission to come there. I saved that favor for this.
Right, the favor for Gilmore. I was saying you've used one of two favors to get that sigil. You have to invoke Gilmore's favor to get this one.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. And since you're part of the circumstance, you acquire the secondary sigil. You now know, you remember permanently, a sigil to Western. You don't know where in Western, but you are connected there. And if you choose to teleport there, you know how to.
Cool.
You also that favor has now been used by Gilmore.
Then I go back to the keep.
All right. And on that note, we're gonna go ahead and take a 5-minute rest break.
I love that look at Liam. Maybe I'm looking too far into it, but that was. I mean, this is kind of what the opposite of what I was hitting on when I was talking about what ostensible patience Percy and Taliesin mainly has had with like looking into his quest and his backstory and whatever. He waited until no, play later. He waited until they were like going to like look into it. I don't know. That was just, I don't know. Yeah, it's like, are we just there's either two things. Either he's wasting a bunch of time doing shit that he does not intend on he's doing stuff that he does not intend to like come up, right? He's doing he's doing things that are just going to be later, which is just destroying and decimating the pace, right? It is just like, it's not even really spotlight hogging. It's something different. I don't even know if I necessarily have a word for it. It's not even like main character syndrome. It's like they're playing an MMO and they're in a guild and it's like, yeah, I'll meet you guys at the dungeon. I'm going to go do my own thing before we get there, right? Like, it just feels that little bit like weird. Like it feels like he feels like everyone else is like doing their own thing right now, but they're not. And they're obviously not, and he should know that. So either that's what's going on, or he intends to go and look into this like on the way to the Briarwoods, which is like the definition of a pace ruiner. Like, even to use a really good example, Keyleth's Ashari thing. Like, she mentioned that the Ashari were over here. She's like, yep, I know where they are. And then they did the whole trial of the take business. Did not bring up the Ashari once. Did all the trial of the take, blah, 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 blah. And then, after the trial of the take is done, then they say, oh, are we going to leave or are we going to go and do Keyleth's thing? It was like an in-between stage. Because I'm sure that the Feywild, I mean, it might be a little bit longer than Keyleth's thing, but it's not going to be that much longer. It's probably like a 2 or 3 session little mini arc. And if he wants to do it in between the Briarwoods, he needs to wait, like Keyleth, of like, okay, Briarwoods is wrapped up. I'm going to go look up the sigil to Westrun. I want to do all this. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of comments. Are we good? Okay, I think we're good. Seems icky to use the favor someone else got him and didn't I also agree there. That's what I was like kind of highlighting, this look of like, was that cool? Don't think it was. I don't know. But again, he's just like seeing it as like, okay, there's like a group pot of resources and he's not taking like the RP, like in fiction, like not repercussions, but like weight of what those mean. Like, okay, they have a favor. Doesn't matter how that favor was acquired. That's what they have. And that's a resource that they can use for this specific purpose. Which is all true. Like on the surface, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that, but there's clearly something wrong with that. You can see how they feel about it on their faces right now. Liam and Sam are tired of it. Laura can't believe it. Marisha is pissed. Yeah, Marisha was like making comments. Yeah. Doing chores to progress personal storyline. I completely miss this being a moment that the others got frustrated. Yeah. I remember much outside the main plot points. Minor spoiler. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you break from the main questline to do crafting or organize your bank. Complete MMO behavior. Yeah, man. Intentionally being oblivious. That is... Yes. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. And even so, it is possible to play an annoying... I think I talked about this during the trial of the take with Felicia Day's character. It's very possible to play an annoying character without being an annoying player. If he wants to play Tiberius obliviously, he very much can without being oblivious himself. which is totally what I'm seeing here. And very much tick. Very, very much tick. Okay, with that, I'm thinking about another bio break. Or actually, maybe not bio break. It's only 8:30. But the question is, and the question I want to pose to you, this is a little bit of a longer one, and I've had a lot to say so far, even with the timer. We're an hour and like 20 minutes through, and it's been like 3 hours IRL. So about, a little bit more than like double the time. We've got 2 hours left for the second half. Now, I normally don't ask, these sorts of questions. Is there combat in the end? Like, is there going to be a way that we can like really quickly get through it? Should we end here and just like have a shorter stream? Like, do we think that we can get through like a 2-hour second half? Is that possible? I see yes from SSH. Sort of combat. Okay. Yes-ish. Yes-ish. Okay. Knowing the ratio that we have right now, about 3 hours to, I would say, push. Okay. Okay. It's like an oblivious selfishness. I just skipped. Wait, what? Oh, I just skipped to the next episode at this point. I don't know that I'm gonna do that. I think I have, at least I think that there might be something related to the main arc here. It might not be, but I don't want to skip it. There's a light combat. This is a shorter episode. I feel you can do it in one night. Last ep we thought we wouldn't fit it, and then we did. That's true. Okay. Let's do a bio break, actually, because I do kind of have to pee, and it's, when they're taking a break. I'm going to think about it. You guys think about it. I remember the beats, but not the timing. Okay. I might just have to, talk less, try to pause less. Maybe occasionally, if it seems like something's going to be boring, I might punch it up to 1.75, but we'll see. Well, I don't know, Mr. I not going to pause as much. I'm going to try. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, what's up? Is it's a filler ep. Does have a lot more D&D DMing topics. Side note, got a new TV. Oh, what's up? Well, that's dope, Mustang. Very cool. I don't think that the second half has many of those moments, but Mega finds moments to talk. True. Very true. I had to think on it in the toilet. And I think, unfortunately, I am going to make it a two-parter for mostly IRL reasons of I have an early morning meeting tomorrow. So I can't risk it going like too late. And there are a couple of things I'm working on, partially for 500 subs, partially just outside of that, some big stuff. And I think, especially with Thanksgiving, I still want to put out stuff. I'm not streaming on the 20th, but I want to put out some stuff that week. I want to like prep some stuff for it. So I think I might just take tonight to do that. And make sure that like we can give the second half as much time as it deserves. I'm not mad, just you're Uriel, you're Allura right now. All good. Damn, that toilet, it poisoned you against us. It did indeed. I will say, though, that does give us a bit of extra time if we want to talk about D&D ethics or morality. I do feel like we kind of got to a close. I feel like each time I'm like, maybe we could do a Q&A thing later that we get to later, and it's like, no, we actually kind of got through it. But do you guys have any additional questions that the timer cut off? If you do, we can talk about those really quick. Otherwise, do be expecting a bit more. I'm ideating some not some solo streams, some like kind of individualized idea streams right now. Like the JoJo stream I mentioned, but a few other ones as well, some that are just like kind of on their own ideas. So I'm going to be working on those tonight. Does the episode title make sense now? Yes. Consequences and Cows does certainly make sense now. I do think that my arc prediction will probably be at least an episode delayed. I was hoping that maybe this Cow quest would be maybe tied into the overall arc, but might have been hard to do depending on how recently Taliesin found out he was sick. But yeah, I'm sure that we will talk more about everything. Taliesin being missing pushes pause on the arc progression. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Which is similar to what Terrace was saying earlier. But yeah, I think one of the things I was thinking about is, like, I know you guys said that, there's kind of less to comment on as it's more of a filler type thing. But I have a feeling that will actually be something that I will want to talk about at length. Of like, okay, this is how you make some emergency quests or whatever. Have you ever had to delay arc progression? Yes. So this is just where I was thinking about going, and I saw the comment, and I was like, I think that's related. So one of the ones that I can think of off the top of my head, I made a whole dungeon based on a missing player. To be fair, I had like 4 days, I think. So I had a little bit of time. but yeah, I basically made a whole I made an abduction mini quest where the reason the player was missing was because they had been abducted, because they weren't just missing, but they said, I won't be there at the beginning. I may or may not just be late. So like they weren't sure if they were going to be totally gone or just late. So I wanted to set up a quest where I could like reintroduce them in the middle, if necessary. And so yeah, I did an abduction quest line, and I thought it was pretty. It was pretty cool, especially because like the only one, like I'm not a fan of like oh, this thing just happens to you. Like if you get like magically fucking roofied and you don't even get to make a save, or like you get like teleported against your will, I really don't like that unless it's like built in raw to the spell. Like I always want to give people saves. But when it's a missing player who's not at the table, I don't have to give them a save because now they are basically an NPC. Like it's it's not necessarily taking away their agency because they're gone. I need to have some thing with them, and I also verified the quest with them ahead of time. I was like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Are you cool with that? And they were. But prep/emergency prep talk is really why I'm trying to make sure you react to see our trolls for Extra Life between EP 26 and 27. Won't go into more details than that. Interesting, SSH. I will also say, so in regards to me splitting this, in regards to Critical Trolls, originally there was a collab that I was going to try to do before Thanksgiving, but with Critical Trolls and with maybe uncertain episode timelines, I don't think I'm going to do that. And with me canceling stream next week, I just don't think it's in the cards for that collab. So I'm going to do that collab after the break now. So I'm more willing to slow down a little bit. I had a very much like a fire under me to get to a certain point. And so now that's kind of delayed, I'm much more okay with going slow. But yeah, so I feel like even though it'll look boring, I have a feeling there's more that I'm gonna want to talk about, especially because I have some rules of thumb for emergency prep. Like I have some rules of thumb for how I go about like improving quests, or just doing like really, really quick prep on quests. It's sort of my hourglass planning that I've talked about. It's sort of, there's a lot to it. I have a lot of stuff on the back end that I'll just like pull out, random things. I'll pull things from other campaigns, lie, cheat, and steal. But I have a feeling I'll want to talk about this rock quest line, especially because it sounds like it's going to be another solo monster against the party, which I'm interested to see. And I'm also assuming it's a rock. It might be something else, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, Big Bird, it's either a rock or like a Periton. And I think that they would have mentioned the horns if it was a Periton. So you're going to do CR Trolls for Extra Life between 26 and 27? I think at this point, yeah. Yeah. So I think Wednesday, and that'll also line up really well with kind of the kind of order and like and sequencing, because then I'll finish 26 on I'll end up finishing 26 on this Wednesday, and then I'll take Monday off, and then we'll do Extra Life next Wednesday as kind of like we're taking Thanksgiving off, but also we're kind of not sort of deal, and then we can get back into the grind set. Not the grind set, the normal pace. I have my own opinion on Trolls for Extra Life one shot, but since I'm a mod now, I'll hold my tongue. Fair enough. That is good. No one has ever reacted to talked about it, and very few people have ever seen it. Yeah, I think it'll be a good I think it'll be a good like mental pacing of like, if you guys don't want to watch, if you're only interested in like the core episodes, basically just imagine me taking Thanksgiving off. So like all of next week, just I'm gone. And then, you know, if you are interested in the side stuff, then we'll have that extra stream on Wednesday. Abuse the power, John. Abuse the power. They need to watch out for that rock bottom. Shut up. You motherfucker. Yeah. That sounds good to me. I'm excited for that. So with that in mind, next stream will probably just be a little bit shorter, and that'll just be okay. If there are some extra, maybe I'll up the timer a little bit, or maybe I just won't use the timer next stream, and we'll just kind of let it be as long as it is, since we know it'll be shorter. But cool. Okay. Sounds good. Can you smell what the rock is cooking? I have a feeling I know how I like to run rocks. It's the same way that I run giants and Ettins. Is if an Ettin can throw a rock, it can throw a guy. If a rock can pick up a bull, it can pick up a grog. And they live on the top of mountains. And the party no longer has a flying carpet. Look, I'm just saying, a lot of times rock fights are very similar to airship fights in all the right ways. Next stream, same bat time, same bat channel. You fucking know it. That'll be it. Rocking the Casbah. If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. Yeah, if you can dodge a boulder, you can dodge yourself. I don't know if that applies. I'll say I've skipped that one shot because it never appealed to me. Ah, yeah, fair enough. I'll let SSH provide the timestamps for that one shot because I don't care. That's fine. Yeah. I've got Mega ready to go. Bet. I mean, people have different interests. That's all good. That is all good. Cool. We will be good. We will be ready to go. So, and the link because the VOD is unlisted. Oh, very good to know. That's probably why people have a harder time reacting to it nowadays. Okay, cool. Well, I will leave it there. Wednesday is 26 part 2, and then Monday's off, and then next Wednesday is critical trolls or extra life trolls or what have you. And then we will be back for 27 next Monday. So the 27th will be episode 27. So if you're really not interested in the interlude, I'll see you in 2 weeks. But I'll be around. Like I said, I'm going to be posting things. I'm going to be working on things. I'm making great progress on the bot. I'm really hoping, look out for it. This December, I think I'm going to run a beta, for the bot. We'll see. I have some kind of core things that I still need to work out. But good chance I'll be running a beta in December. So look out for a potential invite to that. It'll be in the Discord. When I'm ready for it. We just version 0.1 fully works, working on 0.2 now, and I think the beta would be around 0.5. According to my mental roadmap. So potential there. Rip Nightbot, you were useful for one stream. Nah. Discord bot. Nah, I am not. I have fucked around with YouTube's API. It sucks. The stream API specifically is a fucking rat's nest of like contradictory documentation. The YouTube API seems real nice, real slick until you get into it and realize that like certain things just like they kind of work the way that YouTube says, but it is definitely deceptive. I'll get off my soapbox about that already. But no, the Discord bot should be good. It should I will put it like this. It will give everybody more things to do in the Discord. I'll put it like that. So with that, peace out, Girl Scouts. Like, comment, subscribe, all those things, and answer the question that John asked. Have you ever had to delay arc progression in one of your games due to a missing player? And if you did, how did you go about delaying it? I had my abduction quest line. How did you, what's your favorite way? 2 questions. Favorite way you've ever explained away a missing player, and or favorite way that you've ever delayed a quest line. So, good night, everybody. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.